What is going on, people?
There it goes.
How's your Friday side chat? You guys been waiting, I see. Who we got over here? Mike, Parson, Ehart. What up, Ehart? Oh, I'll send you, Ehart, if you want to get in here. Send you a link. Matt West. Leaky Bike. We got side chat's already moving, man.
Yeah. Leaky's Bike It. And there it is coming on the TV 20 seconds later. You have an ad for Dynamite Diesel products, GhostNinja.
Dynamite Diesel. All right. Shout out to Dynamite Diesel.
Yeah.
Let me send. I don't know if I have your. How I send it to Ehart? Am I on Twitter? Twitter? I don't remember. Say hello.
Hello.
They can all hear you. It's my mic here.
You're in my chair.
No, it's my chair. They're gonna start a bonfire. Oh, there it is. Ehart,
golly, they got all kinds of stuff going on in the background.
I know. I might have to move.
Look at that. There she is. Long time no see.
Oh yeah.
I'm watching. Oh, I can't watch my television because it's 20 seconds behind.
That's gotta be a little weird, right? Like everything 20 seconds behind.
Yeah.
I tried that before.
Yeah, it's too crazy.
But
yeah, it is.
Nice,
you got a ton of background noise. Yeah, it looks nice. Looks like a great night instead of freaking freezing like it is here.
Are you have a Snuggie?
It's just a big
Snuggie?
Giant.
That would be awesome.
Just a big giant nuggly blanket on my couch in my front living room.
Oh man, I'm not hating on you, dude. You gotta stay warm. That looks really comfortable.
Yeah.
So
it is, man. This is the comfy couch right here. I got me a breve. I made myself a breve. Before I start drinking beer, I'm gonna get a little coffee in me.
Oh,
yeah.
Mike, you got a commute as well, huh? A little commute to work. Nice. Coffee sounds delicious. We got
oh man.
I got some 805s, and they went ahead and bought 2 bottles of Crown Royale.
Oh geez, is it gonna be one of those nights?
Wow.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Tara went to the store, and there's a couple bottles of wine in here, so we'll see what happens.
You're gonna wake up with your pants.
Huh?
You're gonna wake up with your pants off and laying on the floor again.
Yeah. Wake up with no pants.
Weekend?
No, that's not happening.
Silver Surfer said his whole life's been 20 seconds behind.
Oh geez.
Oh man.
Day late and $1 short.
Yeah, that happens to us.
I am warm, Ghost Anime. I'm very warm.
All right, I'm
it's
gonna
just
make
been
right back.
You gonna make yourself what?
I'm gonna get myself another drink.
Oh, a drink. Okay, right on. Oh yeah, it's just been a bad January. I haven't been able to film. I haven't been able to do hardly anything. It's just sucked weather-wise here. We haven't had a January like this in a few years, so I shouldn't complain. But we'll get one or two nice days. Right now, it's about 40 degrees, so it sucks. That for me, for a desert rat like me, that's cold, and it's going to get down really cold tonight. Another cold front's blowing in, so it's going to be in the teens by morning. I can't. I've had enough of this, man. I'm ready for springtime.
Oh man,
usually our Januaries are 70 degrees every other day, and it just hasn't been like that this year.
We had 2 days of just ridiculous downpours. I mean, it was bad. There was a mudslide that happened in Santa Barbara that killed 15 people. Yeah. Because of fire, because the fires just happened. So everything was holding that area down, burned down, and so crazy, man.
That does suck. Yeah, I saw in Good Morning America the last couple of mornings. They've got some extremely nice-looking douchebag reporting from the scene of the mudslides in California, and he's giving all of this, basically play-by-play of all the devastation that's happened. That I was astounded at what that thing did to cars and homes. It looked like these cars had been crushed in a junkyard car masher press or whatever, hydraulic press.
Mud's heavy.
Very heavy. Yeah, that's crazy. It's just been a winter of wild weather. They had that, whatever they called that typhoon a bomb typhoon out on the East Coast, the Carolinas and all that. And then all that blizzard weather up in the Northeast. Man, I'm ready for it to be over with. I'm ready for springtime.
It rained the other day.
Oh, that's what I was just saying. It rained fucking horrible.
We got 2 days of rain.
It wasn't just rain, man. It was a downpour. It wasn't, and it wasn't our typical like, oh, California's complaining about rain again, and it's like sprinkle. No, it was a downpour.
Yeah,
mudslides, devastation. Yeah,
yeah. The mudslides a little bit north of here. Apparently, I saw in the news while I was at the gym earlier, a bunch of people got killed. It's kind of sad, like almost a whole family. Real
sad. That sucks.
Yeah, and it's because I guess because of the fires. I guess the fires like kind of loosen up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yeah. The fires are partly to blame for it, as I understand it, because when the brush and the flora is burned up, it basically frees up the topsoil to move. Is how I understand it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And of course, California makes all their wildfires 100 times worse than they should be, because California, everything's protected out there. You can't cut down a tree. You can't clear brush. You can't, everything is, the land is, sacred or whatever. And so you end up with all of this fuel for a fire. And when it gets dry enough, the whole freaking state burns up. And so then you have these large, wide swaths of land where the topsoil is just ready to move as soon as, the conditions are right for a mudslide. It's a bad deal.
Yeah.
If it gets too loud on my side, just let me know. I'll move. If just kind of, because I can't tell.
Okay, you're pretty good right now.
Protected.
You missed the shitstorm of my bike.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you texted me. You texted me that you were having potential mechanical problems in the works, but I never heard back from you on that.
Yeah, man. I took it to a dealership that I'm not going to name, and they fucked up big time.
Uh-oh.
And so I rode from San Bernardino to San Diego. When I got to San Diego, I had no coolant. Yeah.
You've got to be kidding me, man.
Nope. And so, I mean, it had a very, like, when I got to work, maybe half a cup of coolant left, dripped out, and then it was completely empty.
Dude, that is unbelievable.
Yeah, so I had to get it towed, and me and Kenny fixed it, and then we kind of fucked up. We made a rookie mistake. So we fixed the bike. It was a hose that they fucked up. Oh, here's the kicker. No one in San Diego had the hose because there's only like 3 Triumph dealerships, and no one had this particular hose. The people that fucked it up had the hose in San Bernardino, and they couldn't drive. They wouldn't drive. They wouldn't send anyone down there to drop it off. So I had to drive up to San Bernardino, grab the part, and drive all the way back down to San Diego. And then we were able to fix it. And so we put it. We turned it on, and it was like, yeah, it's working. It's not leaking. And then we tried to go for a little test ride. And then we started having problems with it. It would just shut off, and the dashboard would not work. And we spent like a good amount of time testing all the fuses. We got a multimeter. We were testing the ground on the bike. I didn't know that, like, something I learned. I didn't know that the bike frame was supposed to have a certain voltage going through it because of the way it's grounded or whatever. So we did like all this crazy shit.
Yeah, we learned a lot.
We definitely learned a lot. Yeah, and so ended up taking it towed to my South Bay where I normally take it for all my shit, and it's the voltage regulator.
That sucks.
But tell them where the voltage regulator was.
It was on this. It's attached to the fairing.
Oh yeah. The regulator rectifier.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, they attach them to the inside of one of the fairings.
Yeah, who does that? And it was weird because when we took the fairings off, like we saw it because we were looking for like the little connector, and it was like kind of tucked inside somewhere. We're like, oh, what the fuck's this thing? Like, oh, never mind. Let's just keep doing whatever we're doing. We didn't fuck up. We just didn't know that's what that was.
So I I talked with like I guess he's the owner of this a small dealership, and I worked out kind of a deal where he didn't have to admit that they fucked up, and they're doing the valve adjustment, the spark plugs. They're gonna do a full coolant system check and check the engine to make sure nothing got fucked up, and they're gonna do all that for free.
Well, that is very cool.
And then
to do that.
And then I'm never taking it back to them again.
Yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't exactly become a patron of that place just because they're doing that, but at least they're making some kind of an effort to make it right. I wonder why
he tried to say I'll give you a discount. He's like, I'll give you like 30, and I was like, no. I was like, that's not going to happen. Like we went back and forth, and
unacceptable.
And then finally I was like, look, here, this is a deal I'm gonna make you. I was basically like, we're not gonna post. I'm not gonna post info about you. I'm not gonna, badmouth you, and you don't have to admit guilt. I'm not asking you to write down on a piece of paper that you're guilty. I'm not asking you to say it, say that you're at fault. But with a handshake, you do this, and then he kind of sat there and he's like, okay. I was like, right there. I was like, if you do that, I'll leave it as is. So
yeah. No social media, no bad reviews, no. Yeah, exactly. Well, that it is what it is. Everybody makes mistakes. It just sucks when.
Yeah.
With motorcycles, the stakes are a lot higher when a technician makes a mistake.
That's exactly what I told him. I said, this is literally the cheapest outcome that you could have had. I was like, there was coolant all over my tire. I could have crashed. I could have died. You could have blown my engine. So what we're talking about here is as cheap as it's getting for you,
Yeah, I feel like the technicians, they definitely don't want to admit that they make mistakes. And the same shit happened last year when I had my brake lines installed. They swore to God that there was a defect from the fucking factory. When the guy, like, literally plain as day, like, fucking stripped out the little ABS box that everything plugs into.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't remember if you guys knew about last year, but like, yeah, I took my bike from one shop, brought it somewhere else, and they're like, yeah, dude, this is fucked up. It's going to be like $2,600 to fix all of this stuff. You're like, I would go back to the dealership that you brought it from and get them to pay for it. So I took the quote back to them, and they ended up fixing it, for nothing, but at the cost of replacing my entire brake system, like everything.
Gosh.
Yeah. So that was my deal last year. But yeah, technicians, they make mistakes, but goddamn, getting to admit that they're wrong is fucking hard.
Yeah. It's funny because he was like, yeah, it was an accident, blah, blah, blah. He's like, that's why we have the highest Yelp review, and we have the highest like repair shop Yelp review, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, well, we could fix that. Yeah. I'm like, I'm sure we could fix that very easily.
Yeah, Google, Yelp, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. How far do you want to go with this? How ugly do you want it to get?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I've forgotten about those Daytonas having the regulator rectifier on the inside of the fairing. He's on the left side, probably.
Yeah,
it is. On the left side. On the left side. Yeah.
Yeah, right underneath the blinker.
Okay. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, they want to. It'd be on the pulse side. The pulse. So your pulse must be on the left side. So yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, why? We're like, what is this box here?
Yeah, we saw it too. Like, what the hell is this thing? Oh, it's not important right now. Well.
Yeah, exactly.
I guarantee you the main reason they probably put it there was to get it in some airflow to keep it cool. So
I know
it's kind of a weird way to do it, but
Daytona's got to be difficult.
Well, I'm hoping, by the time I get it back, it's Can I help you?
Did you?
I'm hoping that when I get it back, it's it'll be running like brand new with like, with the valve adjustment, the spark plugs, and everything. I had just changed the oil, because that's what happened. I thought I had an oil leak. This is what started it. I thought I had an oil leak. There was a little bit of drip, and So I took it all apart, and then KTV was like, get some engine degreaser, clean it up, which I did as much as I could, and then I saw like some loose like a silicone or whatever, like a little piece, and I was like, well, maybe that's where it's leaking from. And so then I was like, well, that's more than I can do, and that's why I took it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And then and that was nothing. They're like, oh, it looks like it was the chain wax. The chain wax just kind of gunked up and was melting.
Gosh,
it was dirty.
Yeah, she was a dirty girl.
Oh man, yeah, I definitely learned a lot last week. But yeah,
it's kind of the nature of it. I just I finally, I don't know if you guys saw the video or not, but just over the course of the past month or two, I've finally gotten that ZRX running better than new again, and it was just one of those deals. I've got to figure out a way. I don't know if I'm going to have to phase separate fuel here at the house to keep so much ethanol out of the fuel, but that bike hates ethanol. It just hates it, and it's getting to where here in West Texas you just cannot find a fuel that doesn't have ethanol in it anymore. I think there's one place, one town over, and that's it. I guess I could go over there and buy a couple of, fill up my 5-gallon racing fuel jugs with pump gas that doesn't have ethanol. But what's going to happen when I go on a day ride or, need to fill up somewhere else? It's something I'm going to have to deal with one way or another.
Yeah.
I think what it's going to come down with that bike is it's going to be one of those deals where every year, like once a year, I'm going to have to pull those carburetors off and pull the air screws out, clean them, and then pull out the pilot jets and the main jets and clean them and put everything back together again, just to make sure nothing's getting etched and nothing's getting clogged.
Yeah.
But it's running like a crazy man now, man. It's that bike is unbelievable. Of course, going from basically stock jetting, we'll call it stage 1 jetting, all the way up to full stage 3 race kit jetting. Yeah, it's like a different motorcycle. I bet it gained. Yeah, it went to beast mode for sure. I bet it gained 20 horsepower, easily 20 horsepower.
Damn, that's a big fucking increase right there,
dude.
man.
Yeah,
and a small bike.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a 1200, so it's a big ass motor.
But it's a tiny, like, it's not. It doesn't seem that big.
Well, I'm talking about the ZRX 1200 though, not the Yamaha, not the FZ07.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah. The FZ07 is a little bike. That thing with a full tank of fuel is 375 pounds.
Really?
But
holy shit, that's really light.
Oh yeah. But the ZRX is a bit of a brute. But I bet, easily 20 horsepower. All I know is that my fuel mileage went from 41 miles to the gallon to 29 miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
So I'm making some fucking power.
That's funny. Yeah. Oh, remember I told you I bought the Dan Moto exhaust? They wouldn't ship it to me.
Yeah. They what?
They would not ship it to me. Like they were saying, like on their site, they're like, if you live in California and you order it, we're going to send you a form, and on that form, you just fill it out, and you basically say it's gonna be track only. And I was like, okay, yep, easy. That's what I'm gonna do. And so I never got the form, and then they just canceled my order. Basically they're not shipping to California.
Wow, that's sad. Wah, wah, wah. Well, I put my Dan Moto XG1 back on my FZ07. I did that last week, as a matter of fact. So it's going to be a loud summer. It's going to be a loud spring and summer on that bike.
Nice.
I was really hoping to get that thing on the bike. I'm feeling it's going to sound amazing on a Triumph.
Oh, it will.
But you know what? As much as people hate on the little, like it's so distinct, and like I think if your bike sounded any different, it wouldn't be the same. Like it would sound cool, but it would lose that.
No. See, that's the thing. That's from the engine. That's not from the exhaust.
I know, but like
that sound will still be there. You'll still have the whistle sound,
but it's not the same.
You'll have more of a growl.
I've on YouTube, like I've heard other bikes that have like exhaust, like Daytonas, and it's that whistle is still there, but with the stock exhaust, I think it just sounds like very distinct. Yeah, because when you ride up my
very
street,
easy
like
to find.
I know it's you.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that and there's only one other Triumph in this area, but yeah, like I can definitely tell you guys apart.
I'll tell you whose Triumph has the loudest Daytona whistle I've ever heard, and that's Triumph Chick's bike. Shade Tree Surgeon's girlfriend, Jessica.
The triple she got the speed triple, right?
No, hers. I thought hers was a street
or the street triple. Yeah, street
Yeah.
triple. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, they on the Christmas video he buys her a full exhaust for. No, I think it's just a canister. He bought her a slip-on canister for it, and they put it on. And they take it out and go for a test ride. And I heard that whistle. And I was like, golly, that is very, very pronounced on that bike.
Yeah, I once this bike's paid off, I think I'm do the speed triple. I'm really looking at that bike.
Yeah. Yeah, if we still had a Triumph dealer here, I would have already had a speed triple or a street triple a long time ago. But my nearest Triumph dealer is 350 miles away, man. So I just
damn. That's the only thing with Triumph too. It's the thing that I'm learning is the actual people that will work on it and the actual dealerships are few and far between.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to find a dealership. It's hard to find support. It's, I mean, they're good about honoring their warranty stuff. They're good about everything related to customer service in general. I've found that they make their dealers adopt are good ones, but it's just that it's in Texas. It is so hard to find support for a Triumph. If you don't live in Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, or Houston, if you don't live in those metro areas, you have zero support for a Triumph.
Yeah.
That's why I've never bought another one. I would have had a garage full of Triumphs by now over the last 4 years since I bought my Bonneville. I love my Bonneville. And knock on wood, I haven't had a single problem out of that bike. It just runs. So yeah, I definitely.
When I bought it, they were like, oh. One of the things they kind of said, they warned me about, they were like, oh, just, working, the price to have them worked on, like, it and stuff like that is a little more expensive. I haven't really noticed the price isn't really that expensive for parts and things like that. I mean, I haven't had any big issues or I've had to replace anything, but I've had, like, maintenance done on it, and it's no different than when I had my 650. It's just a matter of I can only take it to, a couple shops,
Ghost Anime said I have the exact same gas station every 10 miles out here. That is true. They're all Stripes gas stations.
Stripes.
Chuckster said he has the same problem with his Mustang. He can't run ethanol in it. It'll cause the check engine light to come on every time he puts it in there.
There's no modifications or kits that you can add that will help it.
No, it's just
digest it, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Anything with a carburetor. I mean, I'm not going to say anything with a carburetor. I can tell you I've had 2 motorcycles that had tremendous trouble with ethanol. Now, they were both Kawasaki's, and they both had the exact same carburetors. My ZRX 1200, which, of course, I still have, that I've had for, 13, 14 years now. And the other bike was my ZX7R, my 2003 ZX7R. I had that bike for 10 years. And it also hated ethanol. I never had a single problem in a decade of ownership of that ZX7R until it started to get to a point where I had to put ethanol fuel in it. And then I start having carburetor problems. So I think what happens, aside from all of the damage that the corrosiveness of the ethanol causes, like with the ZX7, I had to replace the intake boots one time because the ethanol, on the ZX7R, it would occasionally push your air fuel mixture and spit it back into the air box. And when it did that, it would coat the intake boots in ethanol, and then they would start to crack and dry out. And so I replaced those. But then I had the exact same problem with those carburetors on the ZX7R in that the main jets and the main jets were getting etched and the pilot jets were getting clogged. It was an identical problem that I have with the ZRX 1200. And so that's one of the reasons I kind of got rid of it, because it's a lot harder to get the carburetors off of a ZX7R than the ZX 12, you know.
My understanding, I could be wrong, I'm no fucking mechanic, but if you have a carbureted bike, it really doesn't fucking matter. At some point, you're going to end up taking it apart and having to clean the fucking thing.
You're going to have to, man. It just goes so, it causes it to go so lean when you're in a stock or stage 1 tuning on a set of carburetors when you're running ethanol.
But on the flip side, it's something you can do versus like a fuel injected. You know, you're gonna have to usually replace that fucking part because it's all like electronics and all that.
Oh
shit
yeah,
in there.
you got a throttle body, you know, and it just can suck in air. You know, but the great thing about fuel injection is that it tunes pretty well and can run very well on up to 10% ethanol. You start putting more than 10% ethanol in there and you start having problems. But 5 or 10 on the in fuel injected bikes. Okay. So yeah. But you know, in that case, the main thing you're just going to have to do with that is you might have to replace you know, you'll have to just replace the injectors. And you may, you know, maybe some of the metering stuff you may have to, you know.
Here's a question. This is because I was actually just kind of watching a video on this, and they were saying that, and let's see if this is true or not. They were saying that with a carbureted bike, if you go elevation, you know, all that shit fucks with it because the way it provides the fuel, the elevation can mess with the flow of the fuel. But with fuel injected, elevation shouldn't really make a difference because it's going to be like a constant like thing, whether you go higher, lower.
Or like the bike kind of auto adjusts itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's true or not though. But yeah, I've heard the same thing.
For motorcycles, there are 2 major styles or designs of fuel injection. And the one that most smaller engined bikes, like say, you know, 750 and below they can compensate pretty well.
Kevin, you got the link. I emailed it to you.
The thing about it is what they do with those maps, with those fuel maps, is the main difference in performance is between sea level and about 4,500 feet. That's where all of the craziness happens as far as atmosphere, as far as what's called density altitude effect is concerned. From about 4,500 feet up to 9,000 or 10,000 feet density altitude or real elevation, there's actually not a whole lot of change for either a carburetor system or a fuel injection system to deal with. So what they try to do is they try to make the fuel injection system's efficiency to adapt to density altitude changes the most effective from sea level density altitude to about 4,000 feet density altitude. And that, my understanding is that that's how most of your injection maps on an EFI bike are tuned to compensate. They can compensate to that degree.
Would that be just because that's normal, you know, unless you live like in the mountains somewhere, like you're going to be somewhere between sea level and 4,000 feet?
Right. And my guess would be that bikes that they know are going to be in higher elevations, you know, like, I mean, I would think that they get their own injection map. Because the bike's going to be, I mean, have you guys ever ridden your motorcycles at 7,000 or 8,000 feet for an extended period of time? I did that video I've got on my channel of Cloudcroft, New Mexico Dream Ride. We were really, really high for that 3-day trip. We were rarely below 4,000 feet. We were between 4,000 and 9,000 feet that entire trip. My motorcycle, my FZ07, which gets about 45 miles to the gallon here in West Texas, that bike got 71 miles to the gallon.
Damn. That's crazy.
Yeah. It made a tremendous, and I didn't have as much horsepower or torque, and I could kind of tell that it seemed like it wasn't performing as well, but also it wasn't using nearly as much fuel. It compensated very well to the amount of oxygen it had to work with. That fuel injection system worked really well. And you know, the thing about it, I went the first day we rode 100 and that was like 125 mile day. And I got back into Cloudcroft from that ride. That's the day we went to Tiburon and the National Solar Observatory and all that. we got back into Cloudcroft, and I told my wife, who had been also riding on the back of the bike with me all day, we got to stop and get fuel before we go back to the cabin because I'm sure we're running on fumes by now.
I call that a work day.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I was like, man, this thing only held like a little over a gallon, like a gallon and a half of fuel. It worked out to like 71 miles to the gallon.
Wow.
That's
yeah. So
I feel like I've noticed like riding in different parts of the country, just with like the air density, like changes how the bike feels. I know on like colder days, the bike always feels better. I think just was it because cold air like compresses oxygen more, or like you can compress it more than warmer air.
It's just harder to get it started.
There will almost always be a higher oxygen density at colder temperatures than at hotter temperatures. That's why pilots have to be very careful on a hot day to calculate density altitude, especially if they've got a heavy airplane or if their airplane is loaded down with luggage and fuel or whatever, because the hotter it gets, the less oxygen molecules spread out. And well, obviously, air molecules are what an airplane's wing flies through. And so at a certain point, you will not be able to get the airplane off the ground, or you'll require a takeoff run that's twice as long as the runway or something. So yeah, you're exactly right. On a cooler day, you at the same elevation, you will have generally higher oxygen density and air density in general, and therefore more oxygen density than you will at that same elevation on a hot day.
Yeah, I remember reading about that like early in my undergrad.
Jediah. Yeah. You see his comment?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I heard that. It's true.
Gooch.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But I've just been trying to get this, get all prepped for LA to SD.
Yeah,
for those of you guys in the side chat, we got a lot of good giveaways. I don't think we've really announced I guess it's one of the bigger things we're doing. I know I was telling Tim we're giving away 5 Senas at the event. So if you guys can make it out, it might be worth your while. We're going to be giving away 30K. We're going to be giving away 2 20S Evos. We're going to give away a SMH10 and a 10R. The 10R is a super thin one. Obviously, helmets and gift certificates, and it's gonna be good, man. I'm so awesome. I'm so happy with the sponsors that we were able to pick up. It's just being that it's like the 4th year, we've definitely gained some traction.
I know it's going to be the biggest year yet. I think SCMM is going to end up being the biggest year yet this year too.
Yeah, no doubt. It's just growing. It's interesting because these events, at least for LA to SD, I've noticed that while we're still doing the moto vlogger thing, it's getting bigger in biker community. So people that aren't even interested in YouTube, they're just it's more about the biker community are gonna be showing up.
Yeah.
I'm predicting at least 350.
That's what I'm hoping for. I want to show up and be blown away by the amount of people there. Like, that's what I want. Like last year when we showed up, I was completely dumbfounded with that many bikes there. I was like, holy crap. I wasn't expecting that. I want that to happen again this year. I want to show up and be like, holy crap.
I bet you will.
Yeah, I think you'll be surprised. Ghost can cry. He pulls in the parking lot.
I'm just gonna cry in the corner for a minute.
We keep the helmet on for a little bit longer.
Yeah, Chester had a good comment on air. He talked about cold air being a little cleaner. Yeah, so if you live in an area like you guys do where there's a lot of smog and that sort of thing. As the temperature of the air comes down, also smog will fall out of the air a little quicker, and so that the air will be a little cleaner. We don't have air quality problems out here, so that's just not something I ever have to deal with. But that's a good point.
Are we still talking about fuel injection and stuff? Can I weigh in
We
on
can.
that?
You would definitely be the man to give us even more excellent information on that.
I got it.
Okay, so
take a quick drink that way I can understand everything you're saying.
Yeah.
all right, do it.
All right, go for it. I'm ready.
All right, so here's the deal. All right, carburetors are. I know which video you're talking about, Ghost, because I follow MC Garage as well.
Yeah.
Great.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like MC Garage.
And so what they were talking about is like a carburetor being analog. A carburetor is adjusted through an orifice, a jet, if you will. There's like a lot to do with that. But if you want to talk about injection, which is relevant today because a lot of people buy bikes that are injected. Now, whether it's ride-by-wire or not doesn't matter. But let's say you buy a bike and you replace the exhaust system, right? And you get rid of the emissions devices. So you get rid of, let's say you get rid of an oxygen sensor, right? Now, O2 sensors, what they do is they're what we call on motorcycles, they're what we call a wideband sensor. Or no, there's wideband and there's narrowband. And O2 sensors are narrowband. They're like 0.1 to 0.9 volts. And in the absence of oxygen, they create 0.9 volts. When there is a lot of oxygen, they create 0.1 volt. So what happens is you get this sine wave, right? You get this up and down, up and down, up and down. And the reason for that is that to make an injection system work, you have to have three things: an injector, a way to tell the computer how much air is coming in, and a way to tell the computer how much oxygen is in the exhaust. So we've all heard the term mass airflow sensor, right? A mass airflow sensor, it samples the air going by in your intake tube.
Yeah.
Your O2 sensor samples the oxygen going by in your exhaust. So on a primitive injection system, throwback Tim, throttle body injection, back in the 80s, early 90s, whatever.
Right. Yeah. Or even earlier, going back to the 60s on some
Sure.
stuff.
Well, but those were nozzles, right? So we're talking those.
Oh,
yeah.
You're right.
You're talking about a mechanical injection pump with nozzles. So
yeah.
For the layman, a injector requires an input from an oxygen metering device in the intake and an input from an oxygen metering device in the exhaust. So what happens is the computer sees, okay, we're doing this much oxygen in the intake. I'll spray this much fuel. And in the exhaust, I see this much oxygen. And so because oxygen sensors, O2 sensors generically are primitive, the narrowband sensor, the sensor that goes from 0.1 volt to 0.9 volts, it's always adjusting. And that's the idea. Has anyone ever heard the term stoichiometry?
Yes, stoichiometric metering.
Yeah, it's 14.7 to 1 air to fuel. So 14.7 parts air to 1 part fuel is the ideal for emissions, not necessarily power. Power is a little richer than that, which is where your mapping comes in. But when you have a carburetor, it doesn't know anything. It just knows, okay, it's a metered orifice. It's like putting your thumb on a garden hose. You're kind of letting this much out, and that's cool. It runs good at this altitude. The reason it changes when you go up in elevation is because there's less oxygen the higher you go, right? There's more the lower you go. Ooh. So at sea level, there's more O2. At 10,000 feet up at Angeles Crest, or 9,700 feet, there's less O2. It's just, that's how it works, right? The higher you get, the less oxygen there is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why spacemen have masks and they breathe, oxygen out of their respirators. Long story short, circling back, okay. Inputs from a sensor going in, a sensor going out, dictate based on a program for stoichiometry how much fuel is given for X amount of parts per million air or whatever. The reality is much simpler than that. It's like a potato gun, right? You hold the aqua net for so long and it goes boom. You hold it too long, it doesn't go boom. You hold it not long enough, it doesn't go boom, right? So you have to figure out the right amount of aqua net. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom, aqua net.
Freedom and also tightening in the front of my jeans.
Excellent analogy. I like the 80s hairspray analogy and a potato gun.
But that's what it is. Too rich won't fire, too lean it won't fire, right?
Right.
So, but the difference is that a carburetor is a fixed orifice that's set at whatever altitude you are.
Right.
And an injector can change. They have this thing called block learn, which is an old Chevy term, old GM term, where they have a set of parameters for this much air. This is the fuel mapping. For this much air, this is the fuel mapping. And so when you reprogram a bike, like let's say you take your O2 sensor off, right? Or you have an engine light because your O2 sensor is bad. It reverts to a richer than normal fuel air ratio. So like 14.2, 13.8 to 1, right? And because a rich misfire is a good misfire. A lean misfire is when things go bang.
Exactly.
Right?
It's when you start breaking stuff. Exactly.
Yeah. Like top fuel dragsters, when they explode, because they went lean,
Right. Things got really hot really quickly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In the near future, we will be moving to wideband, which is what most cars use, like Toyota, Honda, all that, where it's a powered oxygen sensor. And the difference is that it's not, instead of relying on an input voltage from how much oxygen there is, like we talked here, the lack of oxygen creates 0.9 volts, 0.9, up to like 1.1, to be honest. And like if you put it out in the air, it'll do 0.1. A wideband sensor or an AF sensor, air fuel ratio sensor, will produce a static voltage because they are powered. So they power a coil inside the sensor, and based on how much they try and change, the amperage goes up and down, but the voltage never changes. So they measure for amperage in the computer.
Interesting.
So oxygen sensors are 2-wire, AF sensor. Well, if they're heated oxygen sensors, they're 4-wire, but they're all 4-wire. So they work a little differently. But so if you have in your car, usually the AF sensors are the ones pre-CAT, the O2 sensors are post-CAT.
Okay.
And it's important to know that because in California here, emissions dictates that anything that controls emissions has a different warranty than powertrain. So like 336, but emissions warranty is 15150. So your AF sensors are guaranteed for 15 years or 150,000 miles, whereas your post-CAT sensors are only 336.
Interesting.
Sorry.
That's interesting. So do you guys have to have vehicles smogged everywhere in California?
Not bikes. A car.
Not yet.
No,
Not yet.
Cars.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Dude, my both my KTMs have charcoal canisters.
So my understanding is this: California tried to implement a law that bikes have to be smog, but they didn't provide any funding to the smog places to buy all new equipment to smog the fucking bikes. And since that's very expensive, they were like, no, we're not doing that. And so that's why all the bikes in California come with all like the fucking emissions shit in it. But that's why they make them like that. And I guess that's why they make it for all bikes in the United States because
that's why I keep my bike registered out of state. And I might buy my next one. I definitely won't buy it in California.
Here in Texas, nothing gets smogged except passenger vehicles that are not motorcycles in like I think it's either 2 or 3 metro areas. But the rest of the vast expanses and cities and towns of Texas, we don't smog anything out here. Of course, we have good air quality.
It's 48 state, right? So there's 50 state and 48 state.
Yeah.
I think it's California and New York, or California and New Jersey, right?
I know that there's a certain cutoff for a year vehicle though. So if your vehicle's like, I don't know what year it is, but it's probably like
it's 30 years from now.
Oh, so it's a moving target.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Grandfathered in. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, because obviously if you've got a 1976 or 1975 H2, it ain't going to pass any smog test. This is a big deal.
But it's also, it's not just that, though. In California, which is the most stringent, you can't put a motor in a car that didn't originally come in the car.
Unless it's over a certain age. Unless the car is over
30 years. Right. So you can't put a 454 in a Mustang because it didn't come with that.
I was not aware of that. I didn't even know that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Fucking California. That's all I got to say about that.
Although these days, instead of dynoing a car like they used to do, now they just plug the computer in. If the monitors are passed, you pass.
Okay.
It's like, boom.
Yeah, California, they do certain things so right and other things so wrong. I mean, you guys did legalize weed, so kudos for that.
Right?
Kinda. Although the thing with that is there's only 90 at the moment. There's only 90 dispensaries that you can go to, and only 2 in LA, and they're like one's in WeHo.
I saw way more.
That's not true. That is not true, man.
That's
you
true.
You can walk into any of them, and they'll
no, you
do
can't.
It. You want to bet?
Yes, I do want to bet. Yes, I do want to bet.
That's how I've done it. I just walk in.
Ask them. If you say, "Hey, I don't even live here, and I just want to buy some pot," they'll tell you where to go.
Everyone I've walked into, I've never been turned down.
I'm telling you, legally, they're not allowed to. There's only 2 in LA. There's like 40 in the Bay Area. I've Googled this a million times.
I've gone into several in LA and here, and none of them have ever said no.
You're talking like just labeled for recreational, not medical, right?
Yes, there are only 2 in LA currently that are labeled recreational.
Yeah, but the medical ones will tell you where to go.
I've just walked in.
Medical ones that will do under the table.
Well, maybe that's what they do because I've just walked in and they've never said no.
Maybe they just assume from seeing your high ass that you're.
This guy's a pro. He's not gonna write us out.
I'm all for it. Like, I wish it was like, hey, look, Chevron selling doobies. You know, like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I really don't care.
That would be awesome, though.
That's what I want.
Ehart, how's the winter where you're at? Huh?
Fucking sucks, dude. It was 55
Shit,
degrees yesterday, and it's like 25 degrees today with 5 inches of snow and ice.
Oh man.
Well, at least we don't have the snow and ice, but we're gonna be down in the teens overnight tonight.
It was 80 here
sucks.
today.
Oh my God.
It's pretty warm today. I was like,
I know,
man,
but you got
I'm jealous. I
mudslides,
see
though.
Ghost over there sitting outside by bonfire.
oh yeah,
I'm so
yeah,
jealous.
nice.
It's warm.
It's warm right now. Yeah, let me tell you.
I'm outside. T-shirt or a tank top, shorts, flippy floppies.
Yeah.
Boom.
I feel like the
Today I
Michelin
walked to the
fans
gym
that
and
go outside, the big fucking bubble guy that's all
look at
wrapped.
this. It's almost 70 degrees right now.
Fuck off.
Well, it's
I
like we
almost-
were saying at the very
I
beginning of
almost have to
the.
take my sweater off. It's getting warm.
We were kind of talking about it at the very beginning of the hangout, and it's usually January. Usually isn't that bad here. We'll get a couple of cold spells, maybe a couple of ice or snowstorms, but the rest of the time we'll have 65, 70 degree days out here. And I ride all the time in January and February, but this year it's just sucked balls, man. It's just been one episode of bad weather after another. And like right now, man, I'm on the couch under a big nuggly blanket, having a coffee, finishing up a coffee before I go to beer. And it is. Let's see. Let me see what the temperature is
It's
right
been
now.
wild here. We'll be negative 13, and 2 days later it's 50 degrees. It's like, what the fuck just happened?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't
40
understand
degrees.
those numbers.
Negative.
You know, I will say, like, because this commute that I ride, I got to go through like Temecula and stuff, and it gets cold.
I love Temecula.
It gets cold as fuck in the morning. So like at 5 in the morning when I'm riding through, it's like low 40s. You know, maybe dipping to high 30s. Man, I'm freezing my ass off. But then the problem is on the way home, it's like 70, 75, and
Yes.
so it's like you either dress warm and have a nice ride to work, or you sweat your balls off on the way home.
Well, you're opening the vents. You open the vents on your gear, right? You're like, all right, let's open this zipper, and then you're like,
Yeah,
trying to
And
like
that's
put
why
yourself
I
above
got
the
a
windshield.
yep.
Your next thing you're gonna have to do is spring for a road crafter suit, Ghost Ninja. That
What
way
are
you can have a road crafter suit. Look it up, and they tailor them right to your body. They're extremely warm, but they have this very advanced venting system that will allow them to breathe air in and out when it starts to get warm. And they're made out of really, really good textiles. They're good crash suits. You know, it's just the kind of thing. Look up road crafter.
I'm really starting to appreciate, and I know this, Tim, you probably have a little sour taste on this one, the Viking fucking pants that I got. I really didn't like them when I got them because they were way too hot. Like I couldn't even wear them for like a minute, and I was just sweating. And now I'm using them every day to go to work, and they work so freaking good. It's just they keep me so warm.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you right now, I don't have a problem with any of Viking's products. They make good products.
Yeah, not the product.
My only problem
situation
with them
they
is,
have.
my problem is that they fucked me over on the review and sponsorship deal.
What?
Yeah.
Tell me about this. I want to hear about this.
I've already talked about it once. Basically, what it amounted to was that they wanted to send me some stuff and then have me do a review on my channel and a review on Amazon about that stuff. And
Right.
I was like, okay, no problem. They said, what do you want to start out with? I said, the main thing I need right now is I've got some road trips coming up, and I need a set of semi-hard or semi-soft bags, whatever you want to call them, for this sport bike, for my FZ07 of my 3 bikes. This is the bike I'm going to take on that trip.
Right.
And she was like, okay, well, pick out the ones you want and buy them on Amazon from our store on Amazon, and then when I see the reviews, I will refund the money that you paid for.
Yes.
And I was like, I was like, I don't know about that. But Ghost Ninja had said, "Oh, these people are legit. They're cool. You can." Usually, when anybody wants me to review or use their product in one of my videos, I just tell them to send it. You know, I'm not putting any money up front. But I needed these bags, and they looked really good. They were $dollars at the time, I think. So I went ahead and bought them. I did the review on my channel, which was hated. It's one of my most hated videos. And because it was so different than anything I usually do, man. You know, when I do a
Right.
straight up video about a product, it sticks out like a sore thumb. And that's another reason why I try to usually just put products in the video without saying too much about them.
Right.
But then I went to Amazon and did the review, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And I basically put the same thing I put in the video, is that it's really, really good. I'm really going to like using these. Here are all the things that are good about it, but here are a few things I don't really like about it. So obviously 4 out of 5 stars. It's not a perfect product.
Right.
So she contacts me back, and I some time goes by, and I never get that money in my PayPal account. And so I contacted her, and I said, hey, you know, I'm looking for and in the meantime, she keeps contacting me. What do you want next? What do you want to review next? What do you want next? Just let me know. And I said,
you're like, well, I kind of need you to pay me first for that one. Shit.
Yeah, I said, before I get any deeper into this, because you're not just sending me the stuff, I want that reimbursement in my PayPal account. And she said, oh, well, I don't see your Amazon review. That's why I haven't sent it to you. And I was like, it's right here. And I sent her a direct link and a screenshot of my Amazon review. And so a few days go by, I don't hear from her. And finally I said, what's up? Did you get my screenshot and that Amazon review I did? She said, oh yeah. She said, I can't reimburse you until you change this. You need to say this about it, and you need to give it 5 out of 5 stars.
Really?
No.
That's not how they treated me at all.
Yeah,
I said that ain't how it works. I review your product honestly. I'm not going to deceive my audience, you know, for your shitty product. They're not shitty products, but I said,
fuck you very much.
Yeah, but fuck you very much. I said, I'm not doing that. So she said, until you do that, I can't, you know, I'm not going to send you money. Okay. So I did what she wanted.
I'm going to change my review then. And it's going to be worse than the one I just left.
I didn't change the wording of the review, but I did go ahead and give it 5 stars. And then another week goes by. And so I contact her again. I said, where is the reimbursement for this in my PayPal? Oh, I sent it. No, you didn't. There is $0 in my PayPal account. So she was like, oh no, I sent it. And that was basically the end of the conversation as far as she was concerned. So I didn't go and make a video. I didn't go make a video saying how I'd been fucked over by them or anything like that. But what I did do is I took down that video of my review of the bags, and I deleted my Amazon review. And so when you go and look at those Viking products on Amazon and they all have 5 stars and glowing reviews, those people are being paid. They're all being paid, either paid to do it or they're being given merchandise for free to do those reviews. Yeah. And they're being coerced into giving 5 stars.
Well, no, see, I was not coerced. I was asked to
go back and look
my
at my
honest opinion. And there were some things that I pointed out that I didn't necessarily like the leather stuff that they had sent me had no hard protection, didn't even have pockets for me to say choose to add this after the fact. And I pointed that out in my video. I'm like, you know, it doesn't seem half bad for budget gear, and that's the only other thing I'd really like to see in it is pockets for to add my own aftermarket protection if I choose to. I mean, it doesn't cost them shit to sew in a pocket. Mm-hmm. But I did several things with them on several levels, and when we got to the point of Amazon where she wanted me to pay for them, now at this point I had already done 2 reviews on YouTube. And I just told her, I was like, I would like to continue with you and I would like to do more products, but I'll just be honest, I cannot afford to front the money at this time. If you can somehow get them to me for free. They sent me like $500 to my PayPal account before I even ordered the products, and I ordered the products with the money they gave me to order them with.
Yeah, that's what the lady did for me for the saddlebags. That she sent me money and then I paid for the bags with that.
Yeah, they paid me first, but I had to tell them that I kind of, you know, I want to continue, but I can't afford to, you know, put $500 on the side for like the next month. I got bills, so.
Right. Well, I'm not, again, I just want to read.
What I noticed is after a while, it started turning into a buy this from us, buy that. We'll give you a discount.
Right. Yeah, they're constantly, once you get into it with them, they're constantly hounding you about, hey, you want this? Hey, you want that? Hey, you want this? Hey, you want that? Do another video. Do another video. Do another Amazon review.
Yeah, no, see, and that was another thing. The other thing is for the Amazon, they did want me to do a video, but I told her, you know, like, unfortunately, I can't just keep doing Motorcycle House videos. It's the eHeart channel, not Erica Reviews Motorcycle House. I was like, so I don't mind doing one here and there, but I can't like do all 13 products review after review after. People are going to start leaving my channel. And she agreed with me and said it was fine. And then so all I did is do the Amazon reviews. So the ones where I did the YouTube reviews, there was no Amazon review. And where I did the Amazon review, there was no YouTube video.
That's how I did it. That's how I did it. I only did one video, and then everything else that I got, I just did Amazon reviews. But it was the same thing as you, where I got the money up front. And
well, the first two products they sent me, they just sent me them for free. They didn't even do the Amazon thing, but I don't think they were set up on Amazon at that point yet. So it was like they were already working with me when we got to the point of Amazon. I kind of felt like I had built, in a sense, some trust with them, and that's why they were like, okay, we'll send you the money up front, no problem.
I'll tell you what I used to do that worked really, really well for having paid product placement or having or featuring a business in my videos and being very subtle about it. I'll let you in on a little Tim Kreitz Adventures secret. I don't do this very much anymore because I used to combine it with shooting people's Yelp videos until the summer when I went to work, you know, full time for one of my clients, as many of you guys know. One of the things I was doing a lot of in this part of Texas with my video production business was shooting people's Yelp videos. And so every once in a while you'll see, like, I'll just give you one. I won't talk about all of them, but I'll just give you one so you can kind of give an example of a great way to place stuff in your videos without making it blatant that you've been paid to do it. Is I did this one video early last year, where I went to and I talked about the difference between traditional Mexican food and Tex-Mex Mexican food. And I went to this restaurant and I had some of their food, and it actually made for an interesting video. And then I went and checked out this museum and some other stuff. And you don't ever know it, but that they paid me to do that. And if you look really closely, if you look at their Yelp video, it's the exact same footage in their Yelp video, or a lot of the cut scenes in the drone footage is the exact same footage on their Yelp video as it is in my moto vlog.
Oh, wow.
And so it worked out perfectly. And so I did that. That was a great, you know, way to add a little bit onto a video project and get a little bit extra out of it, because it added to my whatever my Tim Kreitz Adventure episode was, but it also added onto the value of what the client was getting in the video production. If I could figure out a you know, not obvious way to work it into the video. But now that I'm not doing that anymore, and I don't have, you know, my video production business isn't active, I don't have that as an option anymore. So
what up, Red?
Man,
you get it or what?
Well,
what you getting?
I'm up here.
Oh shit.
Of course, Red.
Of course, son. Like what you expect? Well, hold on. How do I turn the camera around? Oh, right here.
Let's see this thing.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there you go. Red's new motorcycle.
Yeah.
His new motorcycle is a car.
It's got 4 wheels.
Yeah, man. Trying to see what they talking about, man. These motherfuckers, man. I hate fucking dealerships, even though I work at one.
Yeah. Well, car salesmen are a different breed, man.
Yeah, they're dirty. All right, hey, hold on.
Yeah, punch him in the face, exert dominance, then you'll get exactly what you want.
Exert dominance.
Yeah.
I've gone in. I've gone in with a friend to, and we haggled for his Tacoma, and the dude, I swear, the salesman was about to cry, man. He was like, "We're breaking him, man."
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I don't like dealerships. It's never how you think it's gonna be. But I mean, when I bought my last car, like I felt like I did enough research so I knew exactly what I wanted to pay, and I didn't tell them anything about like what I wanted to pay per month. I went in with my own financing, so I was like, this is what I want to pay. This is exactly what I want. If I don't get this, I'm not buying it. And that's.
I just go through Costco. You go through Costco, and they give you like their Costco price, which is below their. It's like at cost or some shit like that. It's pretty fucking low.
Wait, you can buy cars through Costco?
Yeah, they have partnerships with cars. So that's how I got my motorcycles too.
What?
I was gonna say, I think you can buy bikes too.
Yeah, that's how I bought
Yep.
my bikes. I just go to Costco and then they give you they have like a no haggle price kind of where like because they work, I don't know how they do it, but they get good deals.
Oh, I've only been to Costco.
Welcome to Costco. I love
times.
Yeah.
Once with you to get a memory card, and then
Where they had that, what is it, $500,000 laptop or
the
piano?
Yeah.
Dude, we went to a Costco and they had like a $500,000 piano sitting in the middle that they were selling.
Yeah, for sale. Like
for sale. I'm like, who goes to Costco to buy a freaking $500,000 piano?
I'm gonna get a pallet of eggs. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get this $500,000 piano on the way out, and it's sitting there like the same you would see like a bag of M&Ms on the checkout line. Like it was that close.
Yeah, it's like
that last minute purchase. Damn, I really need a piano.
Yeah, it's like, it's like, man, this always happens to me. I just came in for eggs, and now I'm leaving with a $500,000 piano.
Yeah.
Chuckster said you can buy people at Costco.
Uh-oh.
They even have a white slavery aisle.
A white? Oh, jeez. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, it is awful. I went there. Sorry about that.
It's okay. I wouldn't be surprised though. That every time I've gone in there, I've always been like surprised at like how big the fucking store is. I'm like, I don't know where to go, and if I venture far enough, I might find that aisle.
They're all pretty much set up the same.
Yeah, as far as the grocery section, yeah, that's like all the same. But like in ours, it's like the groceries are on the right, and on the left are like the items that change from time to time to time.
A 6-pack of white people, please.
Yeah.
Is that cat a Bengal, Kevin? He's muted.
Savannah.
Oh, it's a Savannah. Okay. I figured it was something in that family of cats. Beautiful cat. Does she go crazy and rip your eyes out in the middle of the night?
No, he's a sweetheart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a cute cat.
Loving kitty ever.
How old is he?
Gotta meet Trogdor.
Boop. I missed. Boop, 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 boop.
You should open the box, see if your cat trap works.
That's not one of those cats. For those of you in the side chats who don't know, that's not one of those cats you get, like in a back alley and adopt or from a pet shelter. Those are like highly bred cats. Savannahs. Those are ancient. That's an ancient breed. Look at his face.
Like they're like 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
Our neighbor's got one, but it's still pretty small.
I got a beer here.
But I guess they don't like that cat very much. I guess it's kind of a tick.
This guy's a little bigger than normal, but not quite as big as I want to go.
Like
15 pounds.
Oh,
I want one that's 30. So
no. See, my cat likes to sleep like near my head, and I don't want a 30-pound creature like trying to smother me while I'm sleeping, like trying to steal my pillow, because then I won't fight back. Like, all right, this is your bed now. I'm gonna go sleep on the couch.
When you're going for a 30-pound cat.
Something about a 30-pound cat. Kevin went robot on us.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I can't hear what he said.
What you worry about when you go for a
30-pound
cat?
Did you guys see that news article of the lady who bought her Christmas tree?
When you get to 35 pounds, that gets.
Yeah, I know. But did you guys see that story? The lady that bought the Christmas tree from Costco and then returned it after Christmas and it was like all dry, and they gave her money back.
What? Like a tree?
You're kidding me.
Yeah, I guess Costco kind of shamed her and other customers shamed her, but they still gave her money back.
Can you blame her though? I mean, if they take it back, it's not her fault. I mean.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, how much is a Christmas tree?
Like 70, 80. I don't know.
Yeah, man, I'll take it back and be like, this tree is defective. I only used it for like 2 weeks. You bring it back.
It did.
Wow.
It's dead. The tree you sold me died.
Now next year,
After you cut
Costco,
it down.
they'll just have Festivus poles and nothing else next year.
You what, babe?
Wow. All right, time for me to get a beer. I think I'm gonna get myself a Texas Cream Ale. Oh yeah, I'll be right back. Go ahead and mute myself because I know my headset will freak out.
Anyways, how's everyone else's week?
It's been long. Tired.
Yeah, it's been long for sure. Unfortunately, the past 2 weeks have been super long for me.
Yeah, well, you had a lot going on. A lot of moving parts. A lot of moving around.
Yeah, at least we got a 3-day weekend.
Oh yeah, so I went to work today. I didn't even have to go.
That sucks.
That was funny. Yeah, that was funny.
Dude, it happened again, and I feel like every couple months this happens. Like I'll show up, I'm like, oh, where the fuck is everybody? Man, this place is like a ghost town, and that's what happened this morning. And then
I have never made that mistake.
Yeah, I was there for like 20 minutes or so, and another girl comes in. I was like, hey, you want to go get some coffee? It's like part of my morning routine to go to the bagel shop and get some coffee, and then around 8:30, decide what I'm going to work on. And then she's like, hey, I just realized that we have the day off. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, it's right here on this memo. I'm like, motherfucker. And I just texted Ghost and everybody on Instagram. I was like, man, this place is like a ghost town. Like, did I miss something?
That was funny.
Yeah, motherfucker, I did. Son of a bitch. Got out of bed for nothing. So I promptly left.
I've done the opposite where when I used to work at like a help desk, I was helping someone in a different country, and so with VPN, and one of the things we would do is make sure that their time is set correctly, because if the time is not set correctly, then it's not synchronized and you can't connect. And so I would change my time on my computer, right, the time zone, so that I can validate it or whatever.
Right. And
I forgot, and then so like I looked down and I'm like, oh man, it's time to go home, and I just fucking left. and then my girl's like, why are you home so early? And then I looked at the time; it was completely wrong. I left like 4 hours early.
Oh no.
Yeah, I called my boss. I had explained to him what happened. He's like, don't worry about it. The worst was when I remember in high school one time, I think we just started Hell Week for football, and I was super tired. And I got home, and I fell asleep like right away. And I woke up, and at dusk, it looks like morning. Like it looks like, so I thought it was morning. And I thought I was running late. So I got up, took a shower, I got dressed, and I got ready to go to school. And my mom didn't even say anything. I don't understand. She didn't even say anything. Like I had my backpack on and everything. And she's like, all right, I'll see you later. And then like I get to the bus stop and I realized like it was the same fucking day. It was just nighttime. I was like, God damn it.
Man. Yeah, so I always say this, but yeah, I should definitely open emails, even if they're from somebody I don't like. And I never listen to myself. And that's why I end up going to work on my day off.
Tim, man, you just look so freaking cozy, man.
I am comfy, dude. You can't even imagine.
You look so comfy, man.
Snuggy.
I got the nice warm blanket on a 39-degree night. Got me a nice Texas beer. Kicking back with you guys. Life is good, man.
I'll take sitting outside in the nice cool, what feels like a summer evening.
Oh shush, Ghost! Just be quiet.
Let's see. I'm looking through Yahoo images of people in Snuggies, and there's only one darker person wearing it, and that's a picture of Obama. There's even a dog. There's a dog wearing one.
What?
Yeah, they look super fucking comfortable though.
Did you guys see the whole H&M thing?
What is? Oh, the Home Shopping Network thing?
No, the clothing line, the H&M, where everyone started freaking out.
Oh, the monkey thing.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I think people freak
Even
out.
the mom was like, she's like, dude, you know how many pictures and clothes we took? She's like, it was nothing.
Yeah, it's a fucking shirt. I think people are freaking out on
That's
that.
what are you talking about? What happened?
So there's a little dark skinned boy in a shirt that says something about best monkey in the jungle or something. Coolest monkey in the jungle.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so people were taking that as like a racist thing, like because he's black or whatever. He's a monkey.
It's a shirt, and his mom decided to buy it.
It's a shirt.
Mom didn't make it.
Yeah.
No, he's a model.
He's a model.
He's modeling all their clothes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my kid wore a monkey shirt the other day. It's got a little monkey on it. Yeah. I mean, I think people freak out over nothing. Over this, I think they freaked out a little bit.
Yeah, and plus it's in Switzerland. It's not even like it was made in the United States, Switzerland.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know about that, but yeah, still, I mean, it's fucking kids' clothes, and kids wear all kinds of weird shit. But if they were gonna pay me to dress up like a monkey, I would damn sure do it.
Right?
Kenny's like, ain't no shame in my game. There's one that said the coolest cracker in the box also.
Oh yeah, I'll dress up like a cracker too. Okay. I'll be whatever you need me to be if you're gonna pay me.
Listen, Linda. Listen.
Oh man. You know what I'm about to do right now? I'm gonna buy some of that wheel degreaser.
Oh, from what is it, Motorcycle Row? That stuff is so good, man.
Every time I say I'm gonna get some and I don't, and I'm gonna get it right now because
you should wait, and I'll hit up Miss Icy and see if she has like a discount code or something.
Actually, where's my phone? I'll send her a message now. Or
Just message her, ask her. I'm sure she's got a code that you can use.
Yeah, I'll send her a message and I'll see what she says. Because she told me once before, like when she was down here, that she was gonna bring me one and she was gonna sell it to me, and I forgot, or maybe we just the timing didn't work out right, and just.
She brought some to SCMM, but then she forgot to bring them.
Yeah. That was it. It was that time, and then when she came down here for something too, I think.
I don't know. I think she's trying to come to LA to SD, but we'll see.
That'd be cool if she does. I think there are a couple people in that area that I think I might have seen are going to head this way.
If only I wasn't across the country.
That's going to be a good
and
time.
You could ride.
Let me see what I've been meaning to check out what the extended weather forecast is going to be.
I've been watching it. I haven't seen any. I mean, the problem is 10-day forecast doesn't go out there. Obviously, they can't go further than that. So
I thought they used to do like a 30-day, but obviously, like the closer you get with to that day, it gets more accurate. Yeah. Weather.com used to be easier to use, and now it's just fucking ads. And
it is.
I don't know how to get this shit.
It's gotten bad, man.
Yeah, I've gone to Weather Underground, man, and my radar because it's gotten so bad.
Yeah. You know what I use? I use this weather app called WeatherBub. It's this really cute cat, and every day it's a picture of him. It tells you what the weather is.
Oh my god, Kenny! Oh my god, Kenny!
That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, there's all right. So on Instagram, there's this cat. His name is Lil Bub, LILBUB, and I don't know, something wrong with this cat, but he's so cute. He's such a cute little cat, and he has his own app called WeatherBub. So I use it. It's cute. Whatever. You know what? Me using getting my weather information from a retarded cat is not the worst thing that's about me on the internet. So, but check it out. It is pretty cool. I really want to get a coffee cup. He's got a coffee cup.
Merch.
Gay.
Working that merch. Ain't no shame in it.
No. Oh, man.
So I'll let me make a little bit of an announcement if I may use this platform to do so. So in addition to all of the stuff, you remember when I was talking about simplifying my life? That actually never happened.
Oh no, dude, it never happened.
So in addition to the band staying pretty busy and me having this new full-time day job, I'm back on the radio again here in West Texas. So
nice. So are you doing like a host kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm sidekicking and guest hosting right now. So tomorrow night, if you guys want to listen on KWEL 107.1 FM here in West Texas, tomorrow night, Texas time from 7 to 10 p.m., I'll be hosting the Spirit of Radio show. So tune in for that online if you are outside of the broadcast area. So I had to give myself
KWE what?
You're doing it by yourself?
KWEL. I will have, actually, I'm going to have my bass player, Matt, from the Tim Kreitz band. He's going to be sidekicking with me.
What kind of music?
This show,
the Spirit of Radio.
And the show is basically, the style of the show is deep cuts and B-sides and rarities from the 70s and 80s and a lot of prog rock. So it'll be a fun show, and we'll kind of banter back and forth and have some fun. And the 8 o'clock hour, the middle hour of the show, we're doing obscure one-hit wonders from the 70s and 80s, including a few Texas bands.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I was on last week too, but I had to play a little show Friday night. I didn't get to go on the hangout and tell you guys about it.
All right, yeah.
So, like, can we call in and harass you?
You can't call in at some point. We're thinking about doing it at some point where you can call in, like when we do trivia questions. Like we will do a trivia question tomorrow, and you will answer, but you'll have to answer it. We're trying to get people to go like the Spirit of Radio show Facebook page, and so we will put the question. I'll put the question on the Facebook page, and then the first person to answer it correctly will win. It's actually, well, it wouldn't do you guys any good. It's tickets to Night Ranger and Dennis DeYoung playing out here in West Texas here in a couple of weeks, but.
Scalp them.
You know,
sell them on eBay. That's kind of cool. That seems. I've always like thought like that. There's got to be a lot of pressure involved in radio, like trying to avoid dead air, and it's
right. It's all about rhythm. The show has to have a certain rhythm, and. I haven't hosted on this station in a few years, and they have a completely different station automation system now. And so I've been there a couple of times this week, trying to make sure I've got it all down pat. Because what I've got to do is the station will be in automation mode when I get there, and it'll actually be playing it'll either be a political talk show or a sports. And then what I've got to do right before the top of the 7 o'clock hour at about 13 seconds until the top of the hour, or right when it does the top of the hour legal ID, I've got to pull the station out of automation mode and put it in manual mode so I can do the show. But then I've got to switch over. I've got to switch over to the satellite feed to do the top of the hour news. And then from there on, it's all manual. I'll play, like the local news and the local weather and a few other little things. And then from there, I'll intro the show, and then we'll go in and start doing the show. But, it's just kind of one of those things where I haven't done it in a couple of years, and they've upgraded all the software and everything's slightly different than I remember it. So hopefully it'll be smooth next week.
So how does that work?
As long as you don't start pushing buttons and get porn playing over the air, then you probably won't get fired.
That would be very bad. Yeah, that would be very, very bad indeed.
So how does that work? Did you just walk in and be like, "Hey, I want to do a show"?
No, they came to me. Yeah, they came to me.
Oh, nice. That's
yeah,
cool.
I mean, I'm not to say I'm any kind of a celebrity or anything in Texas, because I'm really not, but I am pretty well known in West Texas, and I have done guest hosting for this station and another station before. And so they know I've got a lot of radio experience. Now, what I was doing before was all political talk radio, but I've got the Tim Kreitz band, and we stay busy around West Texas. And so they were like, who would be the perfect guest host and sidekick for this show is Kreitz band. In fact, last week it was my first night to sidekick, and the regular host, a guy named Mark, who I've known for years and years. He actually played a couple of our songs and that sort of thing, just to kind of get anyone who's unfamiliar out there with me and with what I do and all that. So it'll be a fun night.
That's pretty cool.
When I was in high school, during high school, I used to do like a manager at Papa John's, and then I'd also do deliveries. And I got so sick of the radio, I started listening. Like I really got into like talk radio. It's just always something different. Cool. It's not the same thing. But then that's why I started listening to what's his name, Michael Savage. I don't know if you guys know that. You probably most of you don't know who he is.
Yeah,
that
this station
he goes crazy.
Oh yeah, he does. In fact, this station that I'm on carries the Michael Savage show.
Oh, he still has a show? I thought he got
it's
radio.
It's hugely popular. Oh yeah, it's the top rated evening and night show in the United States right now.
Yeah, that dude is a character, man. He's
out of San Francisco.
Oh, okay. That's an odd place for him to be.
Yeah. No doubt. I thought the same thing. Yeah.
Like thinking of who he is and his viewpoints.
Yeah, everybody in the side chat, it's KWEL. My accent may be betraying me. Kilo Whiskey Echo Lima, KWEL. You can go to kwel.com. Saturday night for the Spirit of Radio show, when I'll be guest hosting for Mark Christian in the 8 o'clock hour, some of the most obscure one-hit wonders of the 70s and 80s. Join us tomorrow night from 7 to 10 on KWEL and listen live over the internet on kwel.com.
Is that
totally
your voice?
Oh, wow.
That's my radio guy voice.
Yeah. I got, for a second, I was about to change the channel because I was like, man, there's a commercial on that. I don't hear any bullshit. Like, I'll come back in a couple minutes.
Wait, did we get commercials in here? What the hell?
Like, I thought I'm paying for satellite radio, man. I don't get no commercials.
Yeah, that's exactly
right. I've
Salty
noticed,
Rider,
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to answer a question from the side chat. Salty Rider wanted to know if I was going to play any Ray Wiley Hubbard tomorrow night, and I will not. But I love Ray Wiley Hubbard, but he is sort of outside of the genre of the show. Yeah, he's not exactly what the Spirit of Radio show is about. So, no question.
Yeah, it always sounds like when I used to drive a car to work and listen to the morning radio shows, and they always sounded like they're having fun on there.
Mm-hmm. It is a lot of fun. You get in there with a group of people that you can kind of laugh and joke around about, and I've always loved doing radio. Radio, I did a little TV too, and then that led to me working for ad agencies for a lot of years, and I've just sort of been all about all kinds of media, broadcast media, video media, radio media, social media, obviously, YouTube.
Can you drink on the air while you're doing radio?
I've been asked not to do that. But yeah, normally, but here's the deal about this radio station is that the studio it faces a busy street downtown, and it's got big, thick, soundproof windows in the front. So that way, when people drive by, they can see what's going on inside the radio station. So if we're sitting there, with a 6-pack of empty beer bottles laying around, yeah, it would not really look that good.
No, but you could spike your Coke.
Yeah, that is true. That's what many a radio host has done that over the years. I'll tell you that for a fact. Yeah, but we're not going to do that. There will probably be at Matt's house plenty of beer drinking after the show.
It definitely sounds like an interesting gig for sure.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. Yeah, and there is a live page to answer that question. Yeah, let me go.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I was saying I bought like a beater car a couple years ago. Well, not a couple years ago. This was maybe like 10 years ago. But the speakers that were in there were so fucking thin and frail. Like you couldn't listen to anything else except for talk radio, or it would just like sound like fucking blowing through like 2 pieces of paper. Like So yeah. So talk radio was it, and Florida's got some kind of a bunch of weird like random like AM stations that they play like cool stuff. Oh, like somewhat cool stuff, but yeah, it was interesting. You know, good times in the beater.
Oh yeah.
That and the heat never stopped blowing.
The worst radio I ever had was that my car didn't have any speakers or anything, so I had a CD player with anti-skip and some computer speakers.
That's awesome.
That's how I used to bump my Too Short.
My first like CD player that I used to like carry around with me came out of my dad's car that he sold. So it was, you know, the cars already had like the anti-skip. So I was carrying around this big fucking brick of a CD player thing in my backpack. Yeah. Dude, I remember the first time I got that anti-skip, that 2 or 3 seconds. And
changed the game.
Yeah, I was like, damn, dude, I can actually walk. I can walk.
Yeah, I can walk at a normal pace and not like that supermodel walk where you try to put the book on your head so you don't bounce.
Man, that's funny. Dude, now people don't even listen. I can't remember the last time I bought a CD.
Oh no, yeah.
It's been a long ass time.
It's just not the way it's done anymore.
Yeah, like how do artists make money off of like selling their music now? Because you know, I'm sure people still do it, but
yeah, iTunes and Reverb Nation. That's how I do it. I mean, I'm not on iTunes right now. But yeah, when I was with the Creed Fisher band for that 4-year period, I was on retainer with the record label, not only as the guitarist but as the band's producer, and I produced his second album. That album went into the top. We're not exactly sure where it landed. We know it was inside the top 20 best-selling country albums in the world on iTunes.
So did you get royalties on that?
Oh yeah, son. You know that red FZ07 sitting in my garage right now? I bought it with some of the royalties in cash from that album.
Damn.
I imagine you're still getting royalties from it.
Yeah. In fact, I'm way overdue for a payment right now. I'm supposed to be getting them quarterly. Yeah, and of course it tapers off over time. But yeah, that work was great. And then Ghost Ninja's right. You make a lot of money on your live performances. So you want to sell merch at your live performances. You want t-shirts and koozies and CDs and all that. And then plus what you make for the performance for your guarantee from the venue, you get that as well. So
I guess if you're a country artist, koozies, anything camo.
Yeah, bandanas. We had lots of luck selling koozies and bandanas. T-shirts are always a big seller, and of course people always want the CDs, but the little things were always koozies and bandanas. And caps were a pain in the ass, but when we were selling caps, those went really fast too. Yeah.
I don't buy too much music anymore. I have I guess I don't know, probably a lot of people do. Like I pay for the Apple iTunes like music service thing, so it's like maybe $15 a month, and I just download shit off of that, and it ends up in my phone and
Amazon Prime.
Even when I'm offline, I can still use it.
Argument with Apple. Somebody hacked into my Apple account, and Apple would not help me recover it, and all the money I had in my Apple account just got to disappear.
Oh crap!
That stinks.
Yeah, I was pissed.
Just one more reason why I hate Apple.
You know, I'm just I've heard like Spotify is cool and like you can kind of do the same thing, but like I feel like everything works for me so well using this one thing. If I had a bunch of music on a bunch of different platforms, like I would just I think it would just be too confusing. And
yeah, I just stick with Pandora Radio and Amazon Prime. Those are my two.
Pandora's
Amazon Prime is awesome.
I like Pandora a lot. Without the commercials, it is awesome.
Yeah, Amazon Prime has a shit ton of music on there.
Spotify and Amazon Prime pay the artists too whenever they play.
Do they?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
Pandora is the one that screws you over, man. They don't get. I've gotten airplay. One of my songs about 10 years ago, or so. Well, maybe about 8 years ago, got a whole bunch of airplay in Spain, and I started getting these little payments, these little bitty payments through the publisher I was with at the time, and I was like, "Where are these tiny little amounts of money, like $1.17?" $2.04, 88 cents. I was like, where the hell is this little part of it coming from? And there were like these 2 radio stations in Spain that were spinning the crap out of this one song I had. It's a song called I Made It Halfway. And I was like, okay, that's really, really weird. How did they even find that? And, you know, and they were playing it. I was like, that's fine, man. That'll buy me lunch a couple of times.
Yeah, a couple cups of coffee. That's still pretty neat. That's really cool.
It's kind of, I was actually just watching this interview. I don't know how old it was, from Vanilla Ice, and they were kind of just. It was kind of a. They were just asking him like how, like, you know, hip hop, treated him or whatever and stuff like that. But one of the things he was talking about, he's saying how much people talk shit about him and this and that. He's all, well, you don't get it. He's all, you're not famous. Like, you got a lot of these people, these new hip hop artists, and they think they're big. Yeah, they're big in the United States, you know. He's all, but that's not when you're big. You're big when you're worldwide. And he was talking about how he still sells, like, his like original album still sells like millions of copies and shit every year.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, if you have a timeless album, if you have one that's truly evergreen, you will sell that forever. And one of my most evergreen things on my YouTube channel is a song. If you go to my playlist that's music and music videos, there's a song called "Kiss My Rebel Ass," and that song has over 200,000 views on it. And it keeps getting views. Like, it gets 50 views a day. You know, people listen to that song. Nice. It's a video. I've got a handful of videos that never really die on that channel, and that's one of them. So
I've heard that
it's been flagged as inappropriate content for most advertisers, of course. You know,
now see, that whole thing inappropriate for advertiser shit is so fucking confusing. So on the latest bit, it's just thanking everybody, whatever, 2017 had a great year, blah blah blah. I wasn't sure how I felt about the picture at the end. It's just a picture of me giving a whatever. So like, I uploaded it, whatever. It got a green light. That's great. So then I went and I clipped the picture off the end. Turned into yellow, flag, not suitable for advertisers. So then I went back in, said revert to original, and it's green light again. The only change was a picture of me at the end for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's a machine. It's machine learning, and it's a glitch. It makes no sense. What I'll tell you guys, what I do right now, man, is I put the video up. Whenever I'm going to do a new video, I go ahead and upload it, and before I ever release it, and
wait to see what happens.
I'll set it to unlisted and see what happens for like a day or two.
Yeah, and then make changes if need be.
And then
I just don't really make enough to make it even worth it for me to sit and do that. I've thought about it. What I found interesting was I surely thought the video where I got pulled over was going to get flagged just because it had police in it. I put police, motorcycle tickets, blah, 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 all this in the key tags, the picture of the cop. I thought it was going to get flagged. Didn't get flagged. The video I just posted about IMS, flagged.
Wow. It's totally random, dude. It just makes no sense.
It doesn't, man.
YouTube should be ashamed of themselves. I'm pretty sure that they're being run by a group of very incompetent people.
I don't think they care because, here's the thing. Yes,
YouTube is Skynet.
You're pissing off all your content creators, no doubt.
They're like,
where else are they going to go?
How YouTube started and where it came from and what.
Yeah, but it's like, here's the thing. Where else are you going to go?
I know, right?
Yeah, there's nowhere right now. But the thing about it is, they've got to be losing annually hundreds of millions of dollars in advertising because of their random dumbass flagging process.
Do you think they're missing out? They're missing out, or do you think that they're?
Oh yeah, they're missing out because if you're not getting paid, they're not getting paid. If you're not getting paid, they're not getting paid.
Yeah, I guess that.
But at the same time, basically, that was the original argument whenever what had happened, all the advertisers pulled out and said, we're no longer going to advertise. So basically, you have a choice: 0 revenue for us or a declined revenue with a better filtering aspect. And so they took the still getting paid. It might be a little bit less because now there's not ads on quite as many videos, but hey, we're still getting paid, and it's better than the 0 when you backed out.
Well, think about this. On the opposite side of that, they're also getting paid less because less content is getting put out. I don't know if I've noticed everyone that I used to watch, all of a sudden the amount of videos they started posting just bombshell down.
Yeah, I haven't done a video
really though is like
over
what
2
they
weeks.
want is they want people to sign up for the YouTube Red so it can be like a Netflix. Like I've even started noticing some of the big motovloggers, they have special content that is only for YouTube Red subscribers.
Yeah, and that's smart, you know. And I've noticed that after I spilled the beans about getting a Roku channel, and then I never did it because I figured it was kind of useless. I've noticed that there's a handful of motovloggers all that now have Roku channels.
That's no.
Amazon.
I love you guys, but I'm not gonna pay. I'm not gonna pay anything to watch.
Yeah.
I'm not paying to watch anybody.
Yeah.
Well, and it just doesn't make any sense because what's the first thing you do when you get on your Roku device? You go to either Amazon Prime or YouTube. You know, or Netflix.
Yeah,
Netflix, Amazon Prime, or YouTube. That's the only reason that Roku exists. I figured that out early on. And
yeah, because you can purchase like different apps, right?
Well, you can so a lot of them are free, and then some of them you can purchase, and then some of them are free with advertising on Roku. So there's a wide gamut of stuff. Yeah, as far as the content. But yeah, some of it's paid. But like for me, I mean, I have Amazon Prime, so I already have an Amazon Prime account. So I can watch Amazon Prime Video on my Roku device, and it's freaking thousands and thousands and thousands of movies and TV shows and documentaries and you name it. You know, it's just like Amazon Music, but it's, you know, the video side of it. And so I don't have to pay anything extra for that because I'm already paying my $10 a month to be an Amazon Prime member. And then if you've got a Netflix account, you can just log into your Netflix account through your Roku device and watch Netflix. So, you know, and YouTube is free. Obviously, the app on Roku for YouTube is free, and you've got the entirety of YouTube. In fact, I'm sitting here right now streaming with you guys on my laptop and watching it on my Roku TV.
Yeah, I've done it through the TV. That's weird.
Here, let me turn my computer around so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's see if this will work.
I have noticed recently, and I only thought about this because I guess the price of Netflix is either going up or has gone up, like maybe $1 or some change. That I think I spend close to what I was spending on cable on all the separate video, movie things that I use. So like between Netflix, Hulu, which I used to use a lot, but I don't use very much anymore. Netflix, Hulu, certain times of the year. I have
on the big screen.
HBO Go. Yeah, I spend close to maybe at least $50 or $60 a month on all these streaming services. And then I still pay $100 a month for cable.
Yeah, I pay for an internet connection, and I pay for Amazon Prime, and that's it. So, I'm in $70 a month. For $70 a month, I get, I can stream, all kinds of video.
See, I don't look at the actual internet bill as part of that, because if you had cable, you would still have internet.
Right, but I don't have cable. I just pay $69 a month for a fast internet connection. I have zero cable. I either watch broadcast television over an HD antenna, or I stream video over Roku or Amazon Prime or YouTube.
Well, yeah. Right. But what I'm saying is, when I look at like the prices of, say, like all the streaming stuff that we're picking up or whatnot, I don't compare, say, like what we were paying in cable.
Oh,
to, the streaming. Oh,
service
yeah. Plus the internet we would have even if we had cable.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. I think
true.
And I for a long time, I think I've looked at it that way. And I still think that if I had cable, like for what, I think I've got Cox, for what they charge for like the internet service that I have plus a cable package, I would still be playing close, but I don't think I would get my money's worth if I had cable. Like I feel like with all the streaming services I use, I get my money's worth.
And at the same time, though, on top of that, even if it costs the same as cable, it's almost just more convenient because you watch the shows when it's convenient to you. You don't have to catch it at 9 o'clock.
Netflix skip intro button is like
that's been the new awesome thing. I like that. And a lot of their original programming that they've been putting out doesn't even have like these long extensive fucking intros. That
Mindhunter video, whatever. Oh yeah, man, that is such a good show. Have you seen that, Tim? I think you really like that. Okay, so it's called Mindhunter. It's based in the 70s, I think, and it's about criminal psychology, and it's to the two FBI agents who start talking to like serial killers and trying to understand.
It's like the beginnings of forensic crime science, basically. Yeah. I've heard people talking about that, dude. Yeah.
The one dude on the banner looks like Trick.
Last night on Amazon Prime, if you guys have Amazon Prime, I highly recommend you watch this movie if you have not seen it. Have you seen Sicario?
No,
I don't think so.
With it's got Josh Brolin and what's his name, Mr. Sexy Hispanic actor, not Javier Bardem.
Sexy Javier.
Yeah. Anyway, dude, it is a badass movie. It's about the drug cartels. It's about the Mexican drug cartels and a group of FBI and CIA spooks that try to infiltrate them. And dude, it is edge of your seat, heart pounding suspense through the whole movie. It's great.
Yeah, I've been into like Narco and Chapo. Those shows have been good on Netflix.
Yeah, Narco was good. So I just finished End of the Fucking World, and that was a decent show, like 7 or 8 episodes. So now I'll start on the.
I just love how Amazon and Netflix are like bypassing the traditional TV. You know, going to TV with shows. They're just putting shows straight out on a Netflix, and then they just drop the entire season.
So dude,
you just get fucking sucked in and you just binge watch the shit out of it.
Binge watch.
Yeah,
you binge watch the fuck out of it.
That was a horrible. That's the worst part about watching stuff on TV is like you're like, oh, I gotta wait till next week. What?
Right.
No.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So even if you're paying the same price, you do have the added bonus of some of these advantages, such as being able to watch when it's convenient for you, being able to binge watch a season or whatnot.
Yeah, like when Orange is the New Black comes on, you just like, all right, well, my day's done.
Season
my day's done. I know what I'm doing all day.
Fuck it. I got a sick day.
It's kind of nice, like if you're sick, because you're not doing anything else anyways.
And you can get really into a show. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a golden era that we live in, huh? Remember when DVRs were the thing? Everyone was like, "Oh, DVRs."
Oh yeah.
Our kids don't know how spoiled they are.
Huh?
Our kids don't know how spoiled they are. You mean you don't have to wait for it to rewind?
Be kind, please rewind.
What are you talking about? Rewind, Mom. Yeah, it's our day.
They would charge you an extra like $1 if you didn't rewind the fucking video.
Blockbuster days, man. There's a UFO.
I've been fucking muted. I've been muted. All right. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt everybody. When I was in, what the fuck state was I in? Was I in Utah? No, when I was in Iowa, they still have a Blockbuster type like video store where you can rent like DVDs, and it's fucking huge. It's in downtown Dubuque.
There's one here right in my small little town, and I don't know how they can possibly stay in business.
I don't know. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? And they had like, it was big neon signs, and there was a lot of people inside and people hanging out outside.
Even you can rent movies on YouTube. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to pay up for a subscription.
When the fuck am I going to a DVD store?
I'll tell you the funny thing about small independent video rental places, especially when I was in college and high school back in the late 80s and early 90s, was that you would go to, there were two places here in town when I was in high school. One was called Daily News and Tobacco, and they had a huge video section. And the other one was called Fast Freddy's Video Express. And you would go to these places and you'd pull up and there's a million cars out front. And then you go inside and there's nobody in there. And you're like, where the hell is everybody? Everybody was in the back room in the porn section.
That's what I was just saying. I was like, damn, Tobacco, that sounds like a porn shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the beads, like today said.
Yeah, with
the beads out of the way.
Yeah, separated with beads. What you got in the back?
Well, you can kind of, as a kid, you can kind of glance. You're like, oh, let's see what's back there.
I got the new Nina Hartley movie. I need that new Nina Hartley flick.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Good times, man.
Yeah. Times have certainly changed.
Yeah. So I was saying that. So I was talking to somebody the other day. We were talking about like how they were like getting like DVDs for the kids. They were saying that, hey, we got all these DVDs. You should bring some home for your kids or whatever. I was like, dude, I don't have a DVD player. Like, I haven't had a DVD player in like forever. Like, I don't. How the fuck do you work a DVD player? That kind of ended that conversation, and I felt like a dick afterwards because I don't know, but only because they were being nice and offering me something, which
I still have a DVD
which
player.
I would have gladly accepted. I just don't have a
DVD
player.
or Blu-ray player.
No, it was.
It's DVD.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. This laptop I'm on right now is 10 years old, and it has a DVD ROM.
There's the one I'm on.
Yeah, all the new laptops don't even come with a fucking.
Like when my girls were little, I had like the whole Disney collection on DVD, and it's like, I'm not rebuying this shit. I'll just buy a DVD player. Moving forward, because this collection's worth a lot of money and they want to watch it all the time.
Yeah, but with
I think most of the Blu-ray players have a DVD function.
Yeah, but that's what I was gonna say. With the Blu-ray player, though, it also upscales.
It'll
look better.
Here at that point in time, like I don't know, just to me, it's like the difference in between Blu-ray and DVD is, well, I'm gonna pay more money and I'm gonna see the same movie, so. I didn't really watch much TV back then either.
Like, I feel like now I can.
15 years old.
Like, I can tell the difference between like 1080 stuff and like 4K, and like I feel like you can just tell the difference in color, like at least a little bit.
To me, a 1080 video at 60 frames per second looks almost as good as a 4K at 24 or 30 frames a second.
Yeah.
At a certain point, resolution is not so much the issue as it is bit rate.
Mm-hmm. It also depends on what you're watching it on.
Yeah, that's true. But your average Peckerwood's 4K TV that he bought at Best Buy, they look okay. But the main things that you're going to notice is kind of like Kenny was saying, is you're going to mainly notice more color contrast and more vibrance and a wider color gamut in 4K. The resolution itself doesn't, to me, look that much better unless it's something that's specifically made
with
to
some
show
ridiculous
off 4K.
Camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that, I think
like
that's
a red camera or something.
That I'm kind of
like a red R3D.
Like stuff that was made like specifically to be like, this was meant to be watched in like the highest resolution, like Planet Earth stuff, or the
computer graphics really shine in 4K.
What the fuck is that movie? Dunkirk, or like movies like Dunkirk, where you want to watch it in like that super high definition,
full immersion.
Yeah. Otherwise, watching it in anything else just seems like garbage. So I'm trying to. Oh, go ahead, man.
Oh, I was just going to say at some point I know I'm going to have to take my channel to 4K. And most of my cameras have 4K, but the only thing I use it for right now is just
Why do you
shooting so I
feel
can
that way?
reframe. Do what?
Why do you feel you have to move
Because
it?
everyone's going to go to 4K. That's the way it's going to work.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the standard. I don't think it'll ever go higher than 4K because at a certain point you can't perceive any higher resolution. Your eyes can't really perceive any higher resolution. But I think 10 years from now 4K probably will be the standard.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, think about it. If you look at YouTube and look at the history. Remember, it used to be 720p, and everyone was recording at 720p, right? And then all of a sudden, it went to like overnight.
1080 came out.
Yeah, it went to 1080p.
However, it's like I played with my camera once on 4K on a 64 gig card. I get 20 minutes. That doesn't work.
Yeah, my drone.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, my drone eats up a 32 gig card at 4K, man. It's unreal. And you want to talk about the battery, the power consumption? Oh my God. My flight time on my Phantom when I'm shooting in 4K goes from 20 minutes to 15 minutes.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't noticed that with the Mavic. So like was like a month or two ago, there was a sale on Amazon for the 128 gigabyte cards.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was that size. So yeah, I bought 2 or 3 of those, and so that I'm using those in the drone now and in my GoPro. So that way because you're right, you shooting a 32 gigabyte card or the 64, like within an hour or so, like you've totally used up everything that I can do if you're shooting in 4K.
I don't get an hour out of a 64 gig card, not in the GoPro at 4K. In the GoPro at 4K, I literally get like 20 minutes and that card's full. So, all right, put it on a 128. Now we're talking, okay, I get 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I've started shooting the GoPro stuff in 2.7. Is it 2.7?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's 2.7.
Yeah, and then the drone is almost always 4K because I can't see any point in shooting anything other than that because you can always downscale it, right? So
well, it gives you framing options. That's what I use it.
And it's like I think about it. If every 40 minutes ends up like 120 something gigs, then it's like okay, a 5-hour ride is now going to be like a 600 gig fucking ordeal. I won't be able to keep up with that. But then the reason that I'm asking is like I noticed at least on my channel, 80% of my views are on cell phones and tablets versus the computer and TV.
Me too.
So future forward, I think more and more is going to be going to mobile type devices. And so like the mobile devices first have to catch up in that area. And when you're watching on something so small, does 4K even become relevant?
It's not. In fact,
I don't think it is.
1080p, 1920 by 1080 is useless on a phone or a tablet. In fact, my tablet will only do 720p streaming video. That's as high as it'll go because you can't perceive on a screen that small any higher resolution. You just can't.
Well, right. So I'm not saying that there won't be a corner for the 4K, but I don't think necessarily everybody's going to have to move into that market, especially if more and more people are using their mobile devices with mini screens. It's just, there's no corner.
I'm just like you, Ehart. My views come from, I average between 25 and 35,000 views a month, and 85% of it is phones and tablets.
I average those views every 48 hours, and every 80% is tablets.
Like working on a scale like I can't even dream of, and I think it would probably stress me out. But like whenever I make my little videos, like I always test it on the phone and the tablet. Like if it looks good on the phone and it looks good on my tablet, then I know that it's going to look good, or at least I hope it'll look good everywhere else. Because you're right, like majority of the people
you got to do that backwards. You got to do that backwards. If it looks good on the computer and TV, it'll look good on the phone and tablet.
Well, yeah, if
it looks good on the phone and tablet. And like my issue when I was doing the editing on my cell phone due to compression ratios, it would look great on my cell phone, but go blow it up on my computer, it looks like shit.
No, see, I don't do any editing on my phone. So like everything is done on my laptop, and if it looks good there and I'm happy with it, and I decide I'm gonna make the clip, and I'll send it to my phone and then send it to my iPad, and if it looks good there and I feel happy with it, then I know that it's good. Like if it after it passes that, then I know that it's good. But yeah, everything is done on the computer. Like if it doesn't look good on the computer, it's not going to look good anywhere else.
Yeah, if it looks good on the computer, it should look good on a tablet and cell phone. It should transfer fine going backwards into smaller screens.
Yeah.
The other problem is going from the smaller screen type stuff, smaller compressions and smaller ratios, and going forward. It's like trying to like do a 360 or 480 video and then blowing it up on a 60-inch TV. It's gonna look like shit.
Yeah. And what you're saying as far as like all the memory size, I've only got like a 500 gigabyte like hard drive in my laptop. So I just bought like an external, like when we went on our trip over the summer, I just bought a 2 terabyte, and that's where I use to store like all my video and stuff. So if I don't use it gets tossed. But if I'm gonna save it for any type of reason, like everything goes on this external hard drive, and
Yeah,
that's where
I'm
everything
sitting
is.
on like 12 terabytes of back footage right now.
Oh geez, yeah, you probably got a shit.
I have 17 terabytes.
Yeah. So I have
a lot.
You guys are a lot more than me.
And that's what I'm saying. If it were
But I also delete a lot of stuff too.
dude, the shit would be full so goddamn quick.
So did you say you're getting 30,000 views in 24 hours? What did you say?
48 hours.
Oh, okay.
Every 48 hours.
Do you have a viral video or something?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. All right, that explains it. That confused the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Tim was over there doing his forensics.
Like, wait a second.
Yeah, your channel blew up crazy.
It did. It has. And it's still going pretty strong. I'm getting ready to do like a 50K giveaway because I'm pretty excited about that. Woohoo.
That's good, man. You're on your way to getting your what is it? Your silver play button.
I would love a silver button. That's like a YouTube trophy.
You'll get it like a year after you get it.
That's okay. I'm all right with that. The boyfriend was laughing at me, and I was like, you know what? I just challenge you. You go get a YouTube fucking trophy.
It ain't easy, man. That's for sure.
Your big challenge with a viral video, man, is those always tend to be double-edged swords. Like
I know. Like I need another one.
Why so? Just because you need to follow up with something.
You've got to.
It's in a sense.
You've got to. Yeah, if you get a bunch of subscribers and views off of one video, then those people subscribe because they want to see more of that one specific thing.
Not necessarily. See, I have a lot of people going through and watching my other vids. Oh my god, I love you. This, that, and the other thing. You're one of the only girls I watch. You're awesome. Keep making videos. They're digging it.
Motorcycle definitely gives you an advantage in that regard. So hopefully that'll work out. I'm just watching a lot of channels, that get 50 or 100,000 subscribers. Well, maybe not 100,000, but 50, 20, 40, 30, 50,000 subscribers, and then 3 years after the viral video, they're getting 500 views of video. So, but you definitely have some advantages in that regard. So, but that's cool. Yeah, I had no idea. I think the last time I looked at your page, you had like 1,500 subscribers or something like that.
I'm well above that these days.
Yeah, all it takes is that one magic video.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure, especially if you want to maintain that, or you feel like you should.
Kind of, yeah. It's like I feel a little bit more pressured to, I guess, like make videos a little bit more often than I was previously.
Yeah.
Well,
I
got to keep it fun though.
I get people sending me messages. It's been a minute. We want another vid, E-Heart. When's the next vid? And I'm like, okay, I got like 12 messages asking for another vid. I should probably make a vid.
Yeah, I don't want to do anything if it's not going to be fun. But I could, I could see how that would just be a shit ton of pressure.
I wouldn't say a shit ton, maybe just a little.
I see what you're saying. But that's still pretty cool though. If you get one of those like little plaques you can hang it on the wall, like
yeah, that's dope, man.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah, I'm putting something together. It's like a moto vlogging wall of everything that people have sent me, like from my moto vlogging boards to T-shirts to keychains to whatever they give me. So that's gonna be.
I just have a drawer full fucking drawer, just full to the brim of shit. And
I know. I can use something with this.
Yeah.
I have a backpack full of stickers. I'm running out of space.
Yeah, YouTube's an interesting beast. And I don't think people, once you start getting into like analytics and you start trying to understand YouTube, it's its own little science, man. That's why there's a lot of channels that like specifically just like they blow up, that are like, you know, how to make a video, how to make a thumbnail, how to do this, and there's those channels just blow up, man.
My wife's got a friend that just moved to Florida from. She used to live like down the street from me, but her husband is a Navy pilot, and I guess he's just got orders to somewhere in Florida. But she does like a self-help and is like one of those like life coaches or something. So she started making these videos, and I guess they're not bad if you're into that kind of stuff. She was asking Tara like, how do we get people to watch, and Tara asked me, and I'm like, fuck, I don't know, like sometimes you make something and people see it, and sometimes they don't. And I know there's like shit with like the way you tag things. I was like, I really have no idea. Like, I have no clue. I was like, maybe there's some kind of weird book you can read.
They call it all that stuff like SEO. There's a bunch of shit in there. Data tags. And so like the way that you do it, like including on, and so like what you want to do is like you want to aim to use the same key point words, like not only in your title line, your description line, and in your tag line. That makes it more relevant than if you only use it once. Or if you use it 3 times in the description, it is still less relevant than if you use it once in each section.
What?
Yeah, exactly. So that's why, like when I make a video, I always take the title of the video and I put that title into a tag itself, and then you mention it in the description somewhere.
Correct. Now it's more
like
relevant.
Individual words in the tag.
Yeah, words or keywords
or
like the whole sentence.
All right. Well, hey, you know, I haven't really done any like research on how this shit works. I was like, I know it's supposed to work somehow like that. I was like, but I'm not the person to ask. Like, if you want, I could probably find out.
There's like whole like, I mean, literally, you can go to school on fucking YouTube.
Fucking science. That's what it is. Science.
You can know all of this stuff, and it's still
not succeed.
You have to just have to have the right content and the right time, and you know, there's so many variables to being successful on YouTube.
Yeah, you know, I think for me, like, and you know, I'm just kind of starting out, and getting to a point where I actually enjoy like making stuff. Like I'll put a bunch of time into something only to have like 30 people watch it. And even though it's not like too bad, but like I get like, I don't get excited about a lot of things, but when I make something, I'm like, yeah, this is fucking awesome. Like I can't wait to share with everybody, and like nobody watches it.
Dude, so when I first started,
that's kind of like a buzzkill for me, but it's still like I still enjoy making these like little videos that I do.
Dude, I feel starting a YouTube channel now, you grow faster than you did when I started. When I started, for months, none of my videos would get over maybe 10 views, you know, and even like Red's channel, a lot of people I knew, that's how I was. And then all of a sudden you started
going. 1 year to get 55 subscribers. 1 year.
It's not like that anymore. Now I've seen people channels start and in like 3 weeks they've got 30 subscribers. I'm like, what?
Nope.
It's crazy.
For me, my last year I'm still under 100. I think I got one subscriber last month.
You know, it took me almost a year and a half to almost 2 years to even get to 100. I think
my goal was to have 100 by the end of last year, and I missed it, but it's not a big deal. But I definitely think I can hit 100 before summer starts.
For you, your problem is consistency. You don't put up enough videos.
Yeah, I just don't have the time. Like I don't have that kind of time. Like I get maybe an hour a week if I'm lucky to really work on something. So it takes a while.
It takes hours.
Hell, it takes an hour just to transfer the footage from my cameras onto the computer.
Right.
It really is like a time vampire. Like you'll start working on something and then like 4 hours goes by. You get sucked into it.
Oh yeah.
I did them in the same day, and I probably spent about 7 hours at the computer editing.
And I'll tell you what's weird, man. And tell me if you guys have ever had this happen. have you ever had a video that was dormant for a long time and then all of a sudden it just springs back to life?
Yeah, yeah.
So I had this happen on a video just recently. It was a video that had, I don't know, man, it had maybe 1,000 views, and now within the course of like a week and a half, it's up to 4,000 views. It just sprung to life.
Have you taken a look to see where the views are coming from?
Yes, and you know where they're coming from, dude? And this is the most surprising thing. They're coming from YouTube suddenly suggesting it to everybody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not coming from anywhere else. There are no referring, like it's not on a website anywhere. It's not on Reddit, nothing like that. Just all of a sudden, out of the blue, this video that was getting 1 view a day or 3 views a day, all of a sudden YouTube decided it was time to start suggesting that video to other people, and in a week and a half it got 3,000 views.
Huh, that's interesting.
It's bizarre. I've never had, I mean, I've had videos spring to life but that were dormant or dead, but not to that
not by
degree.
YouTube either, right?
Yeah, and not by YouTube, exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So that's an algorithm change.
You know what I always like looking at is seeing the suggested video. Like what is the suggested video that's linking to my channel, and like seeing some of the random videos, and you're like, why would my video be popping up on that? You know?
Yep. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I always look at that. It's funny. It's interesting to look at that on the Roku channel. If you have a Roku device, look at after your videos through playing. Just play one of your videos or go to the end and let it finish playing out by itself, where it'll pop up all the suggestions at the end on the television. And I'm always looking, going, how are these things even related? Like some stuff is, but other stuff is completely unrelated. And you're like, how is this even? This is all random to past a certain point. Like the first little section of videos, you can see how they suggested that, and then after that, it just goes to complete randomness.
You know what? It's another thing I think people don't take advantage of and don't understand the impact that it has on your channel. Is playlists. They don't. That's a huge advantage if you do it right. Yeah, that's a huge advantage because YouTube really likes that because it automatically goes to next video, next video, next video.
It's not just that they like it. Google actually prioritizes videos in playlists over ones that are not.
Yes.
Huh.
Because what happens is if they can suck you into that one video and get you in the playlist, they can show you lots of advertising. Yeah.
Yeah, you stay longer.
In fact, that's another one I had spring back to life was there's a performance of Tim Kreitz Band in the studio doing an Allman Brothers song. And it kind of did okay at the beginning. And I noticed that it kind of popped back to life. All of a sudden it had, you know, why is this getting, all of a sudden it's getting 50 or 100 views a day. But it's because somebody put it in a playlist. Nail for the playlist.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I'd read that somewhere, but I never acted on it. But yeah, that's smart.
Another thing that helps is if your video is what brings someone onto YouTube. So let's say you get the suggested email that everyone gets, and they click on your video, and then they watch your video, and they may not stay on your channel, but that causes them to go from your video to this video to this video to this video. That gains a lot for your channel if you're the video that got them to come to YouTube.
Got them to check out other people's videos.
Yeah, and spend an hour or 2 hours watching YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is fucking easy because YouTube's
the YouTube rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Dude, I was at work one day and I was talking and then I was like, you know what I just realized, Kenny? I've just spent 2 hours
watching
I just spent 2 hours watching
videos.
some kid read he was taking old sneakers and like making them new again, and he videoed the whole process. I spent 2 hours watching some kid take shoes and make them look new again. And so when I realized, I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I watched this many videos.
Yeah, man, that's funny.
They were really interesting though.
You know, since you said that, I think I checked out a couple of those too, and every once in a while I see like this pop up for sneaker like products and shit now.
Yeah.
On Google, on the Google side thing. Like, fuck, dude, like I don't care about renewing sneakers, even though that's kind of cool. Oh, finally! I think I got this. Remember that I was saying that I couldn't get my video to like share from Final Cut like into an actual clip. I think I finally got it to work. I copied piece by piece. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go like segment by segment and see which file might be fucked up. And I think I finally got it to work. I was like, man, I worked on this thing for like a month. Like that would suck if I have to throw it all away just because I can't fucking do anything with it. Like,
I think YouTube's going through a whole thing right now where I'm seeing a trend again where all these new vloggers had started, you know, within the last year or two, falling off already. And just kind of disappearing, realizing like the amount of effort, how much work it is, and you know, you don't. Like Kenny was saying, you put up a video and you spend all this time and you're like, man, this is amazing, and only 30 people watching it.
Yeah, that's the discouragement factor for sure. You spend all that time and effort, and then nobody watches it. And in the early days of any channel, that's the challenge you've got to kind of get past. You know.
Yeah, you got to overcome.
I think if you're you're trying to be like YouTube famous, you know, like that's your goal. Yeah. But I've always said, like, I'm not a very creative person, and I've always respected a lot of you guys just because you can take what we do and see every day and put it in a form that shares it with other people that don't get to do that. And I've never felt like I could do that until like now. So I'm finally making stuff that I think is being able to portray it in the way that I want to. So yeah, I'm just having fun with it. Like I don't care.
And that's what you should do.
I just want to have fun with it.
You should be doing it first and foremost for the sheer joy of doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And anything that you make off of it or any recognition you gain off of it, that should be
extra. Yeah, gravy, exactly.
So
one of the things that I'm going to personally try to focus on is, and what I've noticed, channels that do really good is a high energy, a very high energy video, and fast pace. Like those are the channels that are like doing really good, where there's no gaps between talking. There's no silence. There's no, whether you're talking or there's all of a sudden like an intense music scene, back to talking. There's no silence. Like I see like a lot of newer vloggers that are just starting and they don't got that yet, where they don't understand like you got to cut the video. Like you can't be, talking and you're doing good for 30-40 seconds, then
right. Like I was falling
seconds of silence.
Like, I want to tell a story, and I feel like this part is almost part of telling the story, but it almost gets boring. And it's like as soon as it gets boring, the person's finger starts looking at other videos to go.
That's right. Yeah. That's kind of what I've been working on.
The story or not, you got to cut it out.
Yeah, I get it.
Even in movie editing, there's a thing called pacing, and it's a huge thing in movie editing. If you ever watch like the box set of Pulp Fiction, it shows all these deleted scenes, and they're really good scenes. Like there's this whole conversation between Vincent Vega and Mia Wallace about Vincent Vega being related to Suzanne Vega, and it's funny. But Quentin talks about, we had to get rid of this part of the movie, not because it wasn't good dialogue or it wasn't funny, but because we needed to get those two to Jackrabbit Slims. It was dragging on too long.
Yep.
Yeah.
The extra like 2 or 3 minutes that they talked about some bullshit like slowed the movie down probably way too much.
Right.
So for example, like I had like the last video, the IMS video we did, I had a big problem with that. It was really hard because there was a lot of little conversations that we had that the beginning was kind of slow, but then it was really interesting at the end, and it was like I enjoyed that, but I was like, man, that's people's attention spans aren't going to stick around.
Think about it as everybody who's watching has ADHD, and you can only keep their attention for a few seconds at a time. So you got to keep moving, cut.
Yep.
So if you want to tell a story, and if you watch, do it in movies too, you have to skip to another part. You can skip back to the original point at hand in a couple clips later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ghost, I was telling
the
you the other day that
after-production
I
show,
like
yeah,
the way that you've started like a bunch of your videos, like where you jump in and it's like I'll be into it for like the first like 2 or 3 minutes, like seeing what's going on, and then it gets like into like the actual story, and then it plays back into what you previewed in the beginning.
I used to do that a lot.
I like that. Like I for me that works.
I used to do that a lot. The reason I started not doing it so often is it takes so much work to do all that.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Like the cutting to music and cutting and all that stuff. That's a lot of effort to like.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not like you just take a clip, put it down, take a clip, put it down. No, you're like playing the song and you're trying to find the tempo of the song, and then you figure out, all right, I have to cut to the tempo of the song. So every song's different. So I'm a cut at this snare. I'm a cut at this when the bass hits because this bass is consistent. And so
always cut on the downbeat, man. Always cut on the downbeat.
If I can finally get this video to upload, you'll see I had that problem with this one too. Like just with the song that I used, like everything that I used like has to be perfect on the beat or it just doesn't work right. So yeah, it really fucks with your. So
that's why I had stopped doing it for a long time, just because it just takes so much effort. And then
I like doing them to the song.
I know they come out so good. Like I love it. Like after I'm done, I'm always happy with the result.
So
when I edit, when I'm editing it,
about cutting to the beats and stuff, like, and it is kind of a pain because it's like I kind of get done with what I think is the video, and it's like, all right, now we got to go edit the audio.
Yes.
Whether the song isn't long enough, and I have to find pieces to now clip it in and make it sound right.
Where to start the song? Sometimes you got to start in the song somewhere, like a minute in, because the first part of the song isn't fit.
To get the beat to whatnot. So no, I get what you're saying. It is a little bit of extra work. But as far as like you were saying, like cutting on with the tempo, like instead of cutting on with the tempo, I mean kind of, but you can also like change the speed of that clip to match the tempo. If you're just off by a little bit, speed it up a tenth. Nobody can even tell the difference, even in your voice, at a tenth of a speed up. But it might help you catch that beat that you're looking
for. Yeah. Well, the thing that always gets me is I'll spend an hour and a half just doing the intro that's 20 seconds long, 30 seconds long, to get it the way I want it. And then I'm like, okay, now I can start the actual motovlog. Right. And then that's when you start, and then you go into the other part is like your intro. Do you get a hook? Do you have a hook to grab the audience? Do you have, enough to draw them in, and then keeping the conversation going, and not only keeping the conversation going, but making it entertaining and switching topics, maybe not switching topics, but, making it so that, again, those people with ADD, stick around. It's just so much that goes into it. And that's why it takes so damn long to make a video.
Yeah. So I feel like as long as I'm having fun, like doing it, like even if nobody really sees it, like if I enjoy doing it and I know it's not going to be like lost forever, just because I can go back and watch it. Then I'm happy.
I think that's one of the things for me. The biggest thing for me is to really, in the end, is that in, 5-10 years, I'll be able to look back and be like here's a good example. Here's a great example. Me and Malcolm used to ride all the fucking time, and then he moved, now he's in Tennessee. And so like last week I was like going through videos of me on my page where me and Malcolm used to ride, and it's kind of being able to look back and look at all that shit, and same thing. So that's kind of the way I see in the end. That's the result of YouTube, is having a video diary of shit you've done.
Yeah, I also like that I'm getting better at this, like pushing the boundaries of my skill. Like I've noticed, like periodically, like I'll want to do something, but I'm just not skillful enough to pull off my idea. So like,
right.
Yeah, like being able to get to that point where I can make it work, or kind of, and then just progressing off of that, and that's been kind of fun to me, like pushing my skill boundaries, or like watching a couple of guys that I follow on YouTube and on Instagram, and like watching their films that they put together. Like, man, they're fucking good. Like, I want to get to that point.
It's always gratifying when someone like points out something that you spend a lot of time working on.
Yeah.
Saying that like they really like that. Like I've got a few comments on the intros for the last 2 videos about doing them like that again. So I was like, all right, it was worth the time that I put into it or whatever.
Yeah, I really like I like the way you do those intros. I think they're good.
One of the one that bugged me is I did that the LA to SD kind of like that compilation where I took like everything. I took video from every LA to SD and I put it together and I made that whole thing, and shit barely got 100 views, man. I spent so much time on that thing. I was like, sometimes it just doesn't catch on.
Now, see, and the thing about that is like, so like we discussed, I do have a video going viral. And when I first made the video, I was somewhat disappointed. I'm like, 1,000 views, that's it, dude. I'm like, that video was fucking hilarious. I really thought it would take off better than that. A few months later, I'm just kind of like, I'm somewhat disappointed because I really thought that video would get more views than 1,000. It took it 1 year to actually start.
Oh, really? That's how long it took
to
really kind of take off?
A full calendar year. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, my most viewed video has like 34,000 views. It's not even that much. It kind of sucks.
I think it's still pretty cool. I mean, even if you're just sharing a little bit with the world, just sharing a little bit.
Yeah. Dude, so this funny thing happened. So there's this new rider at my work. He was talking to me about getting a bike or whatever, and I was like, dude, get a bike. So he finally got a bike. And then he didn't really ride, and he always had excuses or whatever, kind of. Not excuses, but he didn't ride as much. Yeah. And this week, was it this week? He kind of came over, and he was like, it was cool because he came over and he was talking about, he went up to, he was watching my videos. He watches them, and he was basically replicating some of those rides. Like, he was like, how do we went? I saw it. We went up to where you went, blah blah, and we want to go up to the Desert Tower. How do I get to the Desert Tower? I saw on that video. I saw it, and he was super excited about doing it. I was like, that was cool. Like, I was like, man, that was pretty cool.
That is cool. Yeah, man. I think that shit's legit, dude. I'm
inspiring like someone to ride or go do stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like I said, just like for me, like being able to portray like the stuff that we see and the feelings that we have, like, and just the community and just the fun aspect of what we do every day to people that don't get to experience that. That's fun. Yeah, because otherwise,
my channel being
old, they just think we're a bunch of fucking weirdos.
My channel being a little bit more laid back, I attract an older audience, and about a year ago, I had a guy contact me, and he said, "Yeah, I just wanted to let you know I'm in my late 70s, and due to health problems, I had to stop riding. However long ago, I can't remember what he said, but he said, I just, I want to let you know how much your videos mean to me because they get to take me on the journeys that I don't get to go on anymore."
Oh man, that's
awesome.
That's what it's all about, right there.
Feels right there. It feels.
Yeah. The best email I got was from a Navy SEAL.
Really?
Yeah, we had I don't know. I made a video a while ago. There was a Navy SEAL who got into like a road rage incident, and some lady chased him down and then ran him over and killed him. And so I made like a whole video on it, and it was kind of like.
Oh yeah.
It was really more about like kind of talking about like, yeah, we get into these situations, but and
I remember
pissed, and you just have to, as riders, you have to check your ego and realize that like you can't go kicking, because he kicked the girl's car, right? Because she almost hit him, and then she swerved into him, and then he kicked her car, and then took off, and she, that's what happened.
Or she chased him down.
And so I was like, I just kind of made like a little video talking about it and how fucked up the situation was. Well, one of the guys that served with him, apparently him and this other guy, they were in the initial Iraq invasion. They were like the first people on the ground. And he like wrote me an email and kind of was like, yeah, it was really cool. I watched it. I know you didn't know him. And he was like, I just wanted to let you know that I knew him. And he was blah, blah, blah. And I was like, dude, I have that one saved. That's an email I have like, whoop, that's a save.
Yeah.
I ran into a situation like that earlier this week. It was like 2 days ago. Remember, so the route that I took you on, Ghost, that I ride to work, right there where those two fucking highways meet is sketchy, always sketchy. And I hit a fucking spot there where a dude like came like inches from like emerging like into my lane and hitting my rear tire. And just the way that everything worked out, like at the time, like I didn't see his blinker. And I got so angry. And then when I went back and watched the video on my GoPro when I got to my office, I was like, man, he put his blinker on a second before he turned in, but then the spot where I decided that I was gonna like merge like into that lane, like if I would have thought about it like as I did when I was sitting in my office, like, man, that was a bad move. Like, why did I move into that space? Like that was fucking sketch. Like any other time I wouldn't have done that. So yeah, you're right, man. Just fucking check your ego. Like you gotta check your ego. And I was so mad at that guy, but it really wasn't his fault. He should have put his blinker on before, but really it was my fucking fault for doing something that I probably wouldn't have normally have done.
And that's one of the cool things of riding with the GoPros. You can go back, because I've had situations like that where, in the moment you feel like you were wrong, but then you go back and you look at the footage and you're like, well, maybe it wasn't exactly what I thought in my head what really happened.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been bad because he I juiced it right at the last second and missed. I don't know. Like I really thought he was gonna hit me, and I got so pissed off. But when I watched the video, I was like, man, like any other time, like that gap that I saw that I could have gotten into, like I wouldn't have gone in there. Like that just looks like a fucking sketchy place to be. Like why did I go in there to begin with?
Yep.
So yeah, GoPro definitely helps with a lot of that and checking your ego and just trying to make the best decisions that you can at the time, I guess.
It's something that takes a conscious effort to do as a rider, to check your ego and let shit slide.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just gotta let it slide.
Yeah, if there's especially if there's no harm done, then let it go, man. Just move on with your life.
Yeah.
That's if they
and at that you see like these road rage fucking videos and stuff of people going ape shit, following bikers, trying to run them over, or trying to beat them up or this or that. It's like, I should just let this go. It's just better that way. Who knows what kind of person this is? They could snap.
Yeah. I've only had one instance where I know like I totally fucking freaked out. I had been riding for maybe a year or two, and it was like holiday season, and I'm riding towards like a shopping center. And some dude cut across 3 lanes of traffic just to turn into a shopping center. And I was so mad, so I followed him in there, and we got to a spot like where it was a stop sign, and I parked my bike right in front of his car and got up on his fucking hood and like kicking his window.
And if he was pissed and like felt, he could have hit the gas and like ran you over.
Exactly, yeah. And in hindsight, I mean, I was my mid-20s, like I was really, really upset because I mean, I was like, fuck, like I could have died, like I could have just died just now.
So like now, these days, I think I could do this. This is how I feel, but it's not in my best interest.
No. Yeah, I was just going off pure fucking emotion and just fucking anger at that point. But now thinking back, 10 years later, like I was like, fuck, dude, that was fucking stupid. Like I could have shot me or fucking ran me over with his car. I could have gone to jail.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't smart. And in front of an entire shopping center, I looked like a fucking psycho. And I don't think too many people had camera phones back then, or that shit would have gone viral for sure. I'm pretty sure, because I was kicking the fuck out of his windshield.
Hey, you're not a small dude, man.
I wish you had that on video too, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No GoPros back then, or at least not that I knew of.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. It's late. I'm tired.
Later. Have a good one.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah,
Good
thanks
talk.
for stopping by.
Good talk
Yeah,
to you.
it's good to see
Most
you.
definitely. Later.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the harder things to do as a writer, and I think it's also for younger writers more difficult to do to ride with a level head and not flip out on every little thing because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen to you every time you ride, man.
Well, even not just like the anger of being mad at other riders or other like motorists for stuff. It's just being comfortable in where you are as far as like your skill and who you're riding with. I noticed that like after my first crash, I was definitely riding with my ego, and if I hadn't been, I probably would have been smart enough not to fucking crash into the water.
In the water?
Yeah, dude. My first fucking crash, I crashed into the salt marsh.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
What story time?
All right, story time. So I got my first bike. I had it maybe
I'm gonna mute myself and make a drink while you're talking.
Oh, you can still hear me, right? Oh yeah, you got those wireless headphones. Baller. All right, yeah. So I had my first bike maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I've been riding it fucking every day. I got maybe 2,000 miles under my belt. Not a lot of experience. I met some guys on a forum, in Tampa, and they're like, "Yeah, we know some twisty roads like out in fucking northern part of Tampa Bay. We're gonna go out there." So I follow these guys, and they're way out of my league, and I know this now. But at the time, like I'm just thinking, like this is normal. This is how I'm supposed to be riding. So we're having a fun day. About a couple miles into wherever this part is, and most of the twisties up there. Very short runs, like 2-3 miles tops. There's a part where there's a left-hand turn, and halfway through the turn, it seemed like the road narrowed, and then there's a small like drop off, and then it's just fucking swamp. Well, halfway through that turn, I panicked and rode right into the water.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just straightened the bike up and went right off the road into the marsh.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, oh shit, fuck this, dude. So I kind of let go like as I hit the downslope, and fucking landed in the mud, and the bike went into the water, and that was that.
Golly.
Yeah, so I mean, luckily I didn't hurt myself too much. I had a sprained shoulder, so I would say maybe I was out of commission for a month. Which didn't stop me from riding. I only lasted about 2 weeks before I had to get back on. And the bike, luckily, didn't sustain that much damage either. I broke like a mirror and some of the blinkers and a bunch of like random small shit. But surprisingly, a lot of the stuff that broke was shit that I had already ordered aftermarket replacements for. So it wasn't a big deal. And then a couple of like stickers and shit to cover the small scratches. And I actually think the bike ran better after I crashed it.
That's interesting. I'm amazed that you get water in the intake. That's the main thing.
No. Yeah,
water lock or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Hydrolock.
Hydrolock. Yeah.
I wanted to say, and it's not going to come out right, but I wanted to say while you were talking, and it sounded like Keith Code. That's SR Survival Instinct #1.
Oh yeah. Fucking. Like, I'm out. Peace.
Just keep turning. That's the main thing. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, at that point, I hadn't read that book.
And straighten it up.
Yeah.
At that point, I hadn't read the Keith Code book, and now I've got one on my shelf upstairs. So it is something good to have, and I really should pick it up and read through it again. It's on my list of things to do.
I've got the DVD for Twist of the Wrist. It's dated because it was made in the late 80s. But the bikes are cool, man. It's got it's all late. It's got like CBR Hurricane. It's got the Hurricane and the early Gixxers, and it's got a ton of ZX 600 double Rs. It's so badass.
Yeah. I remember the like, I haven't read the whole Twisted Wrists, the version that I have from cover to cover, but the parts that I have read, I was like, man, dude, that's fucking smart. Like, and I really need to read it from cover to cover and like keep it consistent, like at least once a year, pick it up and just like pick up some parts. But yeah, well, I was definitely riding with my ego then, and I shouldn't have done that. And since then, like, I've definitely learned, you want to show off, you're probably gonna get fucked up. You want to do something stupid, you're probably gonna get fucked up.
One of the things that me and Malcolm used to do, because we just started. I don't know what happened. We ended up riding. We started riding with a lot of people we didn't know, and we would go out to the canyons. And so one of the things, kind of being, not that we were like, or that I am some crazy experienced rider, that knows all this shit, but one of the things we would do on our own would be like have a little safety talk before we even went out to the canyons. When we get gas, we'd be like, look, here's the deal. These are going to be tight twists, turns, ride in a single line. Don't try to stack up on each other, and don't try to keep up with anybody. No one's going to leave you, just ride your own ride. Don't try to be faster or impress anyone, because it's not going to impress anyone when you eat shit. We'd have these little talks before we go on a ride with people like that we didn't know, because that's just how they are. And I feel like more people have to do that. And even for like LA to SD, we do that too. Before the ride ends, before the ride starts, like we've done the last every year so far, we're like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're going to do 65 miles on the freeway. We're not speeding. We're just going to do a take it chill ride. We don't, there's so the difference in riding experience here is going to go from, new to super experienced, to in between. So let's just take it easy and just enjoy the ride. So
exactly. Yep, that's one of those things that you have to ingrain into people's heads. I think that's one of the reasons why Sub D is just so adamant about no hot riding, no buffoonery, no fuckery on that ride from San Bernardino to Palm Springs, because it's monkey see, monkey do a lot of times.
That's a long ride too.
And it's a long ride, yeah. And if you can just keep the whole group calm down, people would be less tempted to ride beyond their abilities.
Yeah, I think with ours, because ours is a short ride. I think ours is like 20 minutes at the most. Mm-hmm. And me and Bash usually lead the ride, so we set we set the pace at 65, and we just ask people like, don't pass us, try not to pass us, and that kind of thing. And, I mean, you get it; it happens, and that's that's what we tell people. It's like wheelies are gonna happen, and then it's another thing we tell them. We're like, look, we're not gonna sit here and tell you don't do wheelies and don't stunt, but what we are gonna ask is if you're gonna do them, do them off to the side. Don't do it in the middle of the freaking group. So if you eat crap, you take out everyone behind you, And we kind of do stuff like that just because, I mean, you can't control people. You can't tell people what they can and can't do.
Your ride ends up being a clip on Motorcycle Fails 2018.
Yeah. So instead of and people get more when you tell someone they can't do something, they get really defensive about it. Right. So instead of saying don't do this, I like to use the approach of, hey, if you're gonna do it, let's do it this way. Like, do it off to the side. Let's do it safely, And then you say, I don't want anyone crashing in the middle, taking out a bunch of riders. That would suck for you. That would suck for them. So if you're going to do it, and I'm not telling you, I'm not going to be the one to tell you don't do it. We're going to ask you not to if you can, but do it off to the side,
Yeah, yep. That's a good way to approach it. I like that.
Yeah, I do too. We used to do this great big ride to this town called Iran, which is about 80 miles south of the Midland, Odessa area. And that was one of our big things before we took that ride, was that, we're going to split up into groups of, no more than about 15 or 20 bikes per group, and try to stay in the same order. And if you're going to stunt or if you're going to run fast, don't get in a group.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and leave now. If you feel like you've got to go 130 or 150 all the way there, go ahead and leave now. We're going to wait 15 minutes or 20 minutes to leave. And all you guys who want to go super fast can be way out ahead of us because we don't want you running up behind people, no wheeling or stunting in the middle of the group, you know, and it generally worked pretty well. There was always
That's
somebody
even harder though,
because
you guys are breaking into groups, which means you have to have someone in each group experienced enough to lead the group.
Yeah, you have to have two people. You have to have someone to lead, and you have to have a drag rider.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we usually would do 2 or 3 groups. And then anybody who wanted to ride super, super fast, we'd tell you, get your gear on and go now. We'll see you there, hopefully. And we never had a major incident, which was good. There were a couple of little things, you know, guys coming down from wheelies and getting real close to other people and, you know, just stupid stuff. But that always was a pretty good time. We don't do that rally anymore, which I kind of miss it at times, but those were the days of having, you got to get together and have the big talk beforehand. Say, look, man, and just like you said, that was the kind of one of the things that reminded me of it is you can't get up there and act like you run the thing and you're going to tell people what to do. You have to say, hey, look, this is what we would like to see happen.
Yeah.
But I ain't your daddy. I'm not your master. And I don't want to be, but we're going to ask you that if you are going to do these things, here's how we would prefer that you do it. And, generally speaking, I mean, you know, most of those guys, even the ones who wanted to ride crazy or stunt or go super, super fast, they had a good head on their shoulders. You got to keep it. In the first 2 years we did it, they didn't know, like all the counties we had to go through on the 80-mile ride, the DPS and the sheriff's deputies didn't really know what we were doing or where we were going. So guys literally would go 150 all the way that entire 80-mile-an-hour ride. Well, after 2 or 3 years of that rally, they got wise to it. And people started getting pulled over and arrested. And so that slowed the whole thing down too.
Oh, that happened on the ride, the Christmas fucking ride.
Yeah, you guys. There's been a couple rides here that
I didn't stick around.
Anything labeled stunt ride, you know there's gonna be shit happening.
Oh, dude, there were just so many fucking people. Like so the one that happened here in San Diego, it was like around the 20th or something. Anyways, yeah. So there must have been at least 150 people, and I didn't expect that many. Like I'm going into this thing maybe, and there's gonna be like 20, 30 people. No, there was way fucking more than that. So what I think was supposed to happen was all back street. Like you're gonna take side streets all the way the route wherever we're supposed to go. Very little highway, if any, right? But at some point we ended on the 5 going south toward Mexico, which is the major highway running through San Diego. And we are maybe 3 or 4 exits from the border. And then the fucking cops show up, and then I think I counted 3 different cop cars. Like, and one rides right past me.
Oh,
like
and the motorcycle cop.
Yeah, no, I wasn't there for that. I wasn't there for the motorcycle cop. After the cop passed me, I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna on the left. I'm gonna go over to the right a little bit and kind of get away from them. And then the cop got surrounded by a bunch of bikers, and they were fucking kicking his car and shit. He's trying to like.
That's what I'm worried about. Is that type of shit is bad taste. That leaves a really bad taste.
Yeah.
Off their mouth. So then we go do our ride, and they're gonna expect that the same shit's gonna happen. Like they're gonna
expect by association.
Yeah. That's the only thing I'm worried about. I was tempted. Like I kind of was talking to Sabdi a little bit, and I was asking him about, notifying the police and this and that for SMM, and he said he tried it and they just didn't give a fuck. Like they were just like, whatever, we don't care, do what you want to do, So I was thinking about hitting up the police, but at the same time, I'm kind of worried about them coming back and say, well, you're gonna need a permit, or you can't do that, and then all of a sudden now they know it's gonna happen. So
so they're waiting to like fucking catch people.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I'm like, you know what, I'm just not gonna do it. And just
how does he notify people, like, or at least like I know you're talking about like how he like lets them know in your own style of doing things. Like, Like you just get the crowd to be like, hey, like, don't ride like a dick.
We have a bullhorn.
You have a bullhorn? Okay.
Yeah, we use a bullhorn before the ride. We'll go get everyone together. And we'll, oh, you caught up at the end, huh? What?
Oh yeah. Oh, the last.
Yeah,
you
weren't there. You weren't there. That's why. Yeah. Well, so before we went on the ride, we said, hey, we're gonna do a quick announcement, and then we got on the bullhorn and we just announced.
I must have been inside like fucking rushing these guys to put my shit back together.
I don't know.
Dude, last year was fucking hectic.
But we'll see how it goes, man. And then the other thing that gets me nervous is like, let's say something does happen on the ride and the police do show up. My name and Bash's name are all over the fucking flyers. So when they're like, who's in charge here?
Who's
I'm
like,
oh shit, here it is.
But are you? I mean, I guess as a.
I don't think I'm liable.
You're not responsible for what people do on their own. And especially if you make that announcement at the beginning of the ride, like, hey, don't be a fucking asshole. Don't do this. Don't do that. If you're gonna do it smart, but don't hurt anybody else. Like, how does that put liability on you? I mean, people are adults, right? Adult decisions. Like, how do you?
You would think.
Yeah. You would think.
You know what? I'm super stoked to get my bike back tomorrow, and I'm hoping it's running like a fucking champ again. Because I've noticed a little lack in power about the past few days that I rode it.
Fingers crossed, man.
Yeah.
Proper repair,
but man,
and all that.
It's such an odd experience now that when I didn't ride for almost a week, and then you get back on it and you're like, oh my God, this feels amazing, it gets so, it's hard to explain how ingrained into your life it gets. Like, even my wife is like, there's been times where she's like, you need to go ride. You need to go for a ride. Because she knows, like, that's my my release. That's my stress release,
Oh yeah,
last week was so fucking tense. Like I think I just like seeing you like over the course of the week, like not being able to ride your bike and showing up to my house in your car, and like our interaction, like you can see that like pent up like frustration, just a little bit on top of everything else with your bike being fucked up. You can. Yeah,
man, I was
like it's all.
I was rough, man. That's why even with that night when I went. So the problem I had is that so we took the bike down, it ran, and we took it down, and I was going to go for a test ride, and we were going to go for a little ride at like 9 o'clock at night to make sure that the fluid wasn't leaking everywhere, and then we did it correctly. And that's when we started running into the problems with the dash. So then I was like, well, maybe, one of my thoughts was like, well, maybe I need to go ride it a little bit, to get some charging into it, and that'll fix it. So I start riding it, and the light, the dashboard goes out. The whole thing goes out. The lights are still flashes out, and I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna go down. I'm going down the block, a couple blocks. I don't care if I have to push it back. I'm just fucking. I need to ride it a little bit.
Yeah. I really want that Grom.
Oh yeah, the dealership. The South Bay, they have 3 Groms for $2,600.
I want to see how much the monkey is going to be.
The what?
What's the monkey?
Yeah,
the monkey. They Honda brought the monkey back, and it has a Grom engine in it now.
What's the monkey though? I don't know.
The monkey was basically a 50cc mini bike, street legal mini bike from
all new Honda Monkey 125.
Yeah. It's beautiful, man. It looks just like a 70s throwback mini bike.
Oh my God, it does.
Yeah.
Let me see. I don't have to.
That's cool.
It's Honda Monkey.
Yeah. I don't think it's as.
Well, careful using that word, man.
Huh? Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, that looks so sick.
Yep.
It really does have that like old school like throwback.
And it has the Grom engine in it.
That's my understanding, is that it's a 125cc Grom engine.
Oh,
Dude,
that's
dope.
And they packaged it to look just like, I mean, it's obviously a little bigger than the old 50cc Monkey, but the shape is the same. The seat looks the same, side covers, the tank.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it
see
looks
it,
like
yeah.
a 70s mini bike, just like
I'm not
grew
gonna
up
lie.
on.
I'm not gonna lie. That seat looks really comfortable.
He does. For an ass of my dimensions, that looks very cozy.
It's a thick. That's a very plush seat there.
I like how
Yeah, that looks
they're trying to push this like old school like retro look in a very modern
yeah, I
way.
like it.
It's tempting. It's tempting from somebody like myself who likes like new shiny looking stuff and like to be like, damn, dude, that's fucking fly. Like I could get with that.
You know. Here's the thing. You get on a Grom and people kind of look at you and they're like, yeah, tiny little bike. But if you get on something like that, that's going to turn heads.
It will. And it's just like,
What is that?
And the industry is, they're hitting the nail on the head with some things, and I think they're missing on other things. But overall, I think that that return to the more traditional looking motorcycles is a good thing. Now, I'll tell you, we haven't really had a chance to talk about this, Ghost, but I was about to buy the Z900 RS. I even went and rode it a couple of weeks ago.
Did you? It's such a beautiful bike, man.
It is beautiful.
How did it ride? I didn't get to ride it. How did you
I
like
hated it? I hated it.
Really?
Dude, it has the strangest riding position for an upright standard motorcycle I have ever been on. And I don't know if it was just a bad fit, but to me, it seemed like they were trying really, really hard to build a retro bike around that existing Z900 engine. That's what it struck me as. It's real tall. I'm 5'9". I was on my tippy toes on it. It felt top heavy. And then once you get up on the pegs, once you get your feet up on the pegs, and
just sitting on it.
Yeah, it just felt weird, and it was detuned. So, and what I can't figure out, here's what I really can't figure out: they detuned the Z900 RS engine from the Z900 engine. Well, the Z900 engine is already in a street tune. It's already tuned for low end torque. Why would you detune and try to move the torque curve around even more? Just didn't make any sense, man. The power delivery on the bike, everybody was praising it. To me, it seemed strange. And I'll tell you, one of the things I kind of cursed myself on, though, is that I rode my ZRX 1200 to the test ride. So the bike felt anemic compared to my 1200cc GPZ motor.
Yeah, I can see like going from that to that. It's gonna feel different. Yeah.
The two-tone paint job, tax, title, license, freight, MSRP, all that, $13,000, dude.
Yep. That's why I was looking that's why I said I want the speed triple because I like the 1050 and I really like the triple. And I love the design of it, but I was looking at the Z900 for a minute. I was looking at it, I'm like, man, I think this is a good, cool little bike. Yeah, not little, but it's cool. It's a cool bike. To hear that, I only got to really see it at IMS.
Yeah. Well, my buddy Jason, who owns the Kawasaki dealership here, he serviced that bike because among me and there was a handful of other people, he wanted to have test ride it because I think he was pretty convinced that I was going to buy it. And honestly, I was pretty convinced I was too. I talked for 6 months about that bike. I was like, oh, dude, when that comes out, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. And so I think I kind of disappointed him that when I came back from the test ride, I was like, meh. My whole thing is, I told him, I said, dude, I probably will end up just buying the regular Z900 before I buy this thing. Because one thing, why pay $13,000 almost or $12,500 or whatever out the door for that motorcycle when the Z900 is $8,300 and the motor is hotter? I don't know, man. It didn't make any sense to me. I would buy the regular Z900 in a second over that bike.
Over that. Or I personally, and I know a lot of people don't like it. I'd like the Z1000.
I like it too. Yeah, even though they don't make it anymore, but yeah.
Yeah, they stopped making it. But I really liked it. Before I got the Daytona, that's what I was looking at. the green and gray one they had.
My personal favorite version of the Z1000 was the 2003 Z1000 in black with the chrome and red wheels and the red accents on the motor with the blacked out motor. Man, that was the best looking one they ever made. Yeah, I almost bought one of those, but I bought the ZX7R instead.
Yeah. I don't know. I really want to. I really like the Speed Triple. I just love the seating position. I haven't test rode it yet.
It's great. They're great.
But
I mean, I've ridden two. I've ridden one here and then I've ridden Sub D's, and I loved Sub D's the way he had his setup. The only thing was he had his sprocketed a little too low.
Yeah,
dude, I was wheeling at that thing everywhere. It's like 3 days of wheelies.
I mean, if you think about it, not only does he have the sprocket set up that way, but the damn thing's already got low end torque like crazy.
Exactly. That's what it's already tuned for, low end torque.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
He's down 2 teeth on the countershaft sprocket, and he's up like 3 or 4 teeth on the rear wheel sprocket. Man, it was just I wheelied past a cop in Huntington Beach on Sub D's bike. Yeah, yeah, and that was back when Crying Ryan was still riding with us. And Crying Ryan was like, in fact, it's in I've got a video from 2014 where we went out and did those rides. And he was like, he wheelied right past the cop. And Sub D looks over at me and he goes, what? You did?
It was an accident.
It was an accident. He was like, dude, you don't understand how bad they hate motorcycles here.
Yeah.
Is that why his bike wheelie's so easy?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was sprocketed. I never noticed.
Oh yeah, man. He's got them some bitches geared down real.
I don't know. So
I don't know about the Gixxer, but the original Speed Triple, that thing was geared super low, man.
Because we changed what it was like a month ago, 2 months ago, I changed the front and rear sprocket on my bike.
Yeah, it was like 2 months ago.
I was thinking about going down on the rear sprocket just because I don't push the bike. I don't bounce it off the rev limiter all the time. I'm not doing 160 miles an hour down the road all the time. So I was like, a little bit more low end torque might be a little fun, but then I was like, man, that's just going to get me in trouble. I'm going to start going through forks and having fork problems because, so I was like, yeah, I'll just keep it stock. I'm just not going to mess with it. I'll keep it the way it was designed.
I don't know how bad it is now, but I remember years ago, when people would start changing their sprocket sizes, like you have an issue with the mileage like being wrong, and you have to get
speedometer.
Yeah. Depending on
I don't know how.
That's why if you watch Cowie Brock, and you watch his videos and you look at his speedometer, it always looks like he's speeding everywhere, but he's not. He just has the fucking.
That dude could be doing 40 and he'll be reading 70.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so he's showing his odometer is also way high. He might be showing whatever 15,000 miles on the bike, and it may only be 12,000 miles or 11,000 miles.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
and that's for me. That's a big deal because I mean I've kept bikes like I say long time as far as mileage. But I've never kept them a long time as far as like time. So I mean, if every 2 years, if I get a new bike, if I change the sprocket size and I've got 50,000 miles and I really only rode like 25 or 30, then that fucks up my resale value.
I just FYI, my battery is down to 10%. So when it's done, I think it's done. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I don't know where my headset is. My headset may be going down low too. So
just FYI, side chat. If I disappear, that's it. It's just battery died. But yeah, no. I figured I'd just keep it stock. I mean, my bike now, and I'm like surprised. It's so interesting because I think I'm hitting 32,000 miles on my bike. And I'm like, man, that's a lot of miles. That's a fucking lot of miles on a bike. It's old now.
Yeah, man. I think back in the day, hitting over like 10 or 15,000 miles was like a death sentence for a sport bike. Like, whoa, you've got 15,000 miles on your bike. That thing's garbage. And I don't think that's necessarily true anymore.
No, I don't think.
It's
I mean,
not.
look at
No,
Red's.
you can.
Red's R6 is like 60,000 some fucking.
Oh yeah,
pounds.
fucking Red's.
I've got a buddy with
It's
a
like
1200
Jesus.
Bandit.
Noah's Ark.
Yeah,
that was Noah's bike.
a friend of mine has got a 1200 Bandit that has 110,000 miles on it. It runs like a champ.
Yeah.
See, that's why I truly do not want to get rid of my bike. I want my inspiration, Tim, is you. I want to have a fucking garage full of bikes, but not just any bikes. I want to have bikes that I've had for
You can
a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's working.
And so the Triumph is one of, especially now that they're not making it anymore. Like,
Right.
I want to keep that bike. You know, it'll be one of those. I have a feeling it'll be one of those bikes. It's gonna, you know. Oh wow, you have a fucking 675. They didn't make that. They stopped making that. You know how long ago? You know.
That's one of the main
reasons. It's
reasons.
such a shame, man. It's such a shame that they stopped making that bike.
Oh yeah, it's a shame they stopped making the ZRX. That's one of the main reasons I've hung on to it. Also, it's one of those bikes I know I would, out of the 20-something motorcycles I've owned, you know, I regret getting rid of exactly 2 of them. And they were both Kawasaki's. My 2000 ZX6R, I really regret getting rid of that. And the other was that 1978 KZ1000 that I restored, did that full restoration.
I thought her thing looked sick.
Yeah, but that dude, he offered me a ridiculous price. I just had to sell it. In fact, I paid for most of the Triumph with the money.
It'd be stupid not to sell, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'll find another one at some point, but I know that it would be the same thing if I ever got rid of that ZRX after all these years of ownership with it and so much fun, and they don't make them anymore. And so when I started having trouble with it, I was like, no, man, I'm not going to get rid of it like I did the ZX7R. Everything about this can be fixed. It's not that big a deal. I just need not get discouraged. I'm going to have to dump a little money into it. That's all right. Yeah. And I'll make it better than it ever was. And now that I have it running like a madman, I'm so happy with it. You know, so
I only had that feeling about one bike, like selling it, and that was my ZX14. Only because I know what happened to it after I sold it.
Yeah, that always sucks. That same thing happened with my ZX6R. That dude who bought it turned it into a stunt bike and destroyed it. I was so mad.
I got a call like after I moved to SoCal. Maybe like 2 or 3 months, some detective was like, hey, do you own a 2012 ZX14? I'm like, I did. It's like, oh, well, we picked it up and it's sitting in an impound lot, blah, blah, blah. You're the registered owner. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I sold this thing like months ago, like at least 5 or 6 months ago.
The guy never transferred the title.
Nope. Yeah, he never did anything to it.
He just let it sit there.
Yeah, now I don't. I guess it got picked up during Daytona Bike Week.
Yeah.
And now I don't know what happened to it, but that bike was awesome. Even when I sold it, like it was still legit. I just I wanted something different, and I didn't want to put the money into fixing all the shit that got rusted because of the fucking stupid weather.
One of the other reasons I really like the bike, the 675, is they're not rare, but they're kind of rare. Like you don't see them everywhere. Like, on it. When I got mine, when I got my 675, I don't think I saw anybody on YouTube had a 675 at all. And then a few other people started getting them. I started seeing a few other people get them, but you don't see them everywhere. Like they're, and that when I was talking to.
Uh-oh. Think we lost him. Black screen. I'm seeing black screen. GhostNinja. I think his computer died. Crying shame. But he's still on. That's weird. Huh. You figured it would have dumped him from his own hangout, but it didn't. It's like he's still online, but it's just a black screen.
Oh no! Oh, he finally fucking ran out of battery.
Yeah, But he still says he's on. I just hovered over his square. It still says Ghost Ninja.
He just sent me a text that says dead, LOL, mid-sentence. Oh, man.
Sucks. Oh, well. All right. Well, Side Chat, thanks for tuning in tonight. We've had a great time.
Yeah, I always enjoy hanging out with you guys. Thanks for making my Friday night awesome.
Likewise. I feel exactly the same way. All right. Well, as soon as that computer goes completely dead, it's gonna either dump the Hangout or it'll go to the 5-minute warning, whichever. Yeah, there it is. Let's see. Yeah, so that's it. All right. Well, good hanging out with you, Kenny.
Yeah, man. I'll tune in tomorrow on KWEL 107.1 at 7:10 p.m.
That's it, man.
Spirit Radio.
The Spirit of Radio show.
Yeah, man. I'll check you out. All right, later, buddy. Bye.
All right. Good night. Good night, Side Chat.
Later, everybody. Bye.